You can't restrain me. You can search me. I'll give it all up just to be with you. I'm so happy. Now you got me. I'll surrender all my love to you. Don't you see what you're doing to me? I'm in love and I can't break free. Now I'm begging with you, baby. Please don't leave me hanging. Oh, no. It's a lockdown, baby. You drive me crazy. to save me. I got a confession for you. Call me crazy, but I may be committing a crime of the first degree. I'm not pretending, I mean what I'm saying. I'm coming in with my hands held high. Gotta face it, I'm not gonna make it without your love, and I got nowhere to go. Don't you see what you're doing to me? I'm in love and I can't break free. Now I'm begging with you, baby. Please don't leave me hanging. Oh, 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 no, it's a lockdown, baby. You drive me crazy. Ain't no escaping. Your love has got me doing time. You're my attorney, my judge and jury. I'm feeling guilty, so lock me up. Go with me. Oh, babe. Hey, hey. I said lock me up. Go with me. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Lock me up. Go with me. You can't restrain me. You can search me. I'll give it all up just to be with you. I'm so happy. Now you got me. I'll surrender all my love to you. Don't you see what you're doing to me? I'm in love and I can't break free. Now I'm begging with you, baby. Please don't leave me hanging. Oh, oh, oh. It's a lockdown, baby. You drive me crazy. Ain't no escape.
Hey everyone, welcome to our first live stream in a while for this live recording. Just let me see if Tyrone. I see Tyrone in there. Tyrone, are you ready to hop in? All right, I'm just gonna bring you in. So, Tyrone, what is up?
How's it going, brother?
Doing good, doing good. You ready to do this top 10 list? You ready to do this?
Absolutely. Let's do the dang thing, as they say.
Yeah. So I kind of already told you like in private chat like before, but what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be going over your top 10 like real quickly, like about 5 minutes. 5 minutes for each person. I think that's fair. And then the bulk of the show is going to be us kind of friendly debate and just to fill out like,
discourse.
yeah, just filling out our group top 10 list, which will live on forever on the Real Livers podcast. But I kind of stole this a little bit from Giant Bomb, a little bit, the Giant Bomb cast, but because I've always liked the way that they did things with video games, but we're doing it for movies, so
I love it. I'm excited.
How are you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Okay.
I'm doing fantastic. I have a long weekend coming up, 5 days, so I'm very excited about that. But other than that, been watching a ton of movies. This is a perfect time at the end of the year where award season's going on, so you can hear about more things. Things start to hit streaming. They re-put things back into the movie theater. Like I saw Spider-Verse was going back. I know Oppenheimer's going back. So yeah, a lot of
IMAX too. Spider-Verse and IMAX. I'm probably gonna have to catch that one too. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, looks like Meagan's here. Let me just get Meagan in here so she doesn't feel left out. Meagan, what's up? How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Happy New Year.
Family reunion. I love it.
But yeah, just since we're live, I'll just let everyone, if we have anyone in here, we probably don't. But just for the people that are live, this is going to be like a live recording for us just doing our top 10 lists. And we're going to do 5 minutes each and just kind of like talk about like our top 10s. And then we're just going to break into our group top 10. We're just going to make the Real Lovers top 10 as we go. So we're all just going to maybe kind of like friendly debate and see which films belong in the official Real Lovers top 10. So thank you for participating. I'm just going to count us in here real quick, like just like a normal podcast, and play the intro, and then we'll go from there. Okay. We're all good? Meagan, you're all good?
Words thing, not sponsored.
You got what? Everyone got water, tea,
You
fluid.
got that YouTube money now, Megan. Okay.
No, not yet. I can go now. I can use some candles.
You're on YouTube, Megan? I was.
She's
Not
probably
yet. It's in the works. It's in the works.
yeah.
This is a scoop. Do I got a scoop?
No.
No, IG and TikTok is Megan's main home, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but eventually YouTube.
Yeah,
I
I would
feel
just listen. I just said YouTube money. I didn't say she was over there. I said she got that YouTube money.
I feel like because I feel like I'm spending more time on YouTube lately. To be honest.
Oh yeah.
YouTube and IG. TikTok is it's a beast at this point.
Yeah.
But
I'm mostly spending time in off the internet. But I think it's about time I get back. You know, vacation's over. Now it's time to get back in the playground with all my friends. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Well, I'm glad you chose the Real Lovers podcast for that. And us.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Let me just kind of say in. Let me just get the intro played out. Shoot. Sorry. Counting us in 3, 2, 1. We come to this feed for magic. We come to the Real Lovers podcast to laugh, to cry, to converse. Because we need that. All of us. That indescribable feeling we get when the music begins to fade. And we go somewhere we've never been before. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Our hosts feel like the best of all of us, and discussions feel perfect and powerful. Because here, they are the Real Lovers Podcast.
Love it every time.
Hello, and welcome back to the Real Lovers Podcast. We are joined by two of my favorite human beings on the face of the planet, and what better way to bring them back in the best of 2023 episode. I am your host, Marley Silverbrand, as always, and to my right we have Tyrone from the Circle Club. Tyrone, how you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. I feel like I'm back at the first day of school. You know, it's the start of the new year, hanging with the popular kids. I love it.
Calling me a popular kid? I hope you're talking about Meagan.
Pretty much.
Don't include me in the popular kids, but Meagan, welcome.
Definitely
Hi,
Meagan.
it's always so good. Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How's your 2024 going? It's like we're approaching like the second week, at the end of the second week. How's it going for everyone?
You know what? It's going better now.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been really disciplined, trying to stick to my goals and everything, and so far so good. But today's my Friday because I took 2 days off of work, so I got the long weekend. I'm ready to talk movies. I'm ready to be here with you all. I'm excited.
Well, I'm super excited that you have like those extra 2 days off. Like whenever I have those extra 2 days off from work, it feels like 2 months.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
I know exactly
Yes.
how you feel. But thank you for doing this with me, just because this is kind of a podcast I've been looking forward to for like a really long time, where we get to talk about the top 10 movies of 2023. I asked you both to do your own personal lists, and then we're going to touch on it a little bit, but I feel like other movie podcasts you see that all the time. Like you do like top 10 movies, and they're usually all the same. So I decided to throw in a little twist, since that's what I like to do. We're just gonna after we talk about our own personal lists, we're just going to break in and basically just build like the Real Lovers top 10 movies of 2023. We're gonna collaborate. We're gonna have a friendly debate. There's no feelings are gonna get hurt. Crossing my fingers, no feelings will get hurt. And we're just gonna like make that top 10 list, like just collaborating together. But
I love it. I love it.
It's gonna be a great time. So Tyrone, do you want to go actually want to go first on
Sure,
our
absolutely. I would love to go first. Disclaimer at the Circle Club, we don't love to compare and rate movies because everything is perfect and special. And you are perfect the way you are, which is why we say just be you. But for the sake of Marley, and I love Marley, I had to make my top 10. So there was a lot of good movies this year, a lot of bad movies. I don't know what did you guys think, but I felt like there was a lot of lukewarm movies this year. But I was like, I enjoyed them still. There's a lot
I
of
agree.
lukewarm movies. What did you think?
I,
I think so. I think there was a lot of like mid movies,
Yeah,
but then there was also a lot of great films too.
right.
But like I'm telling you, like 2022 hit better than 2023. Like not gonna lie, like there wasn't too many movies this year that I was like completely wowed by, but
Right.
only a handful did. Or like there's
Yeah.
movies that were so good, but also I don't want to watch them again.
Yeah, right, totally. And that's the weird thing is like there wasn't a whole lot of rewatch, but there was like, whoa, that was something when I first saw it.
Mhm.
And I think, that's a great segue from my list. So, Oppenheimer, obviously, Barbenheimer was like the big sort of popular thing event this year. And like for me, Oppenheimer, the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, that's good. And like I love Christopher Nolan, love all of his work. Like I'm one of the like weirdos out there who love Tenet, like I love Christopher Nolan's work. Interstellar, I can watch at any time, any minute. But for some reason, Oppenheimer just when I first saw it, it didn't make me go wow. And maybe I had my own like sort of ideas and thoughts, so it was kind of like my fault. But then I found myself listening once a week, almost every day, listening to this soundtrack. And I started to go back and I didn't watch the whole, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch the whole thing again, but watching it again, I was like, wow, this really is like a beautiful story. The music is just incredible. One of my favorite soundtracks of last year. So that I couldn't not put it in my top 10. Um, Number 9, John Wick. End of the series. I thought they ended it very well. It's a great action piece, entertainment. I always love a good action, sort of entertaining piece where I feel like, I think sometimes in Hollywood we cheapen something that's entertaining, right? But I think that something can be entertaining, but also just really well executed. And this is a great example of that for me. It was like choreography is awesome, cinematography looks great. I love just a campy movie. So John Wick for me was definitely number 9. Um, Number 8, Dream Scenario, and we may get into a little heated debate about this, but Dream Scenario, I thought was the better version of what Beau is Afraid tried to do. I really liked Beau is Afraid. I thought it was an ambitious movie. I thought it was, really well done and crafted. But I just thought the actual plot and story, it could have used a little bit better cohesion to for the audience. Whereas with Dream Scenario, I think it was very clear that this is a story about attention, fame, like social currency, and kind of like how you think that's what you want. And like, I just thought that was really well done. Missing one of the rare sort of scenarios, in my opinion, where a sequel may be better than the original. And like, I love a good sequel that actually takes what like we know about that universe or world or style, but does its own thing. And I just thought this was really clever, well done. The actresses involved were fantastic. I don't want to butcher the names right now. Storm Reed, yeah, I believe is her name, and Nia Long. And I love to see what like those like OG actresses like Nia Long come back, really have their flowers and moments. So yeah, that was really great. Number 6, The Holdovers. So this is one I saw recently. I really didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did. Shot in Massachusetts, Boston, where I'm from. So naturally you don't have that connection there. But I thought this was a really good Christmas movie. I feel like it didn't get, maybe I don't know where I was or my circles. I didn't get that Christmassy sort of advertising, but I think that they should have um put more like advertising out about this being a Christmas movie, and a Christmas story. And I thought it was very heartfelt, well done. And Paul Giamatti is awesome. I'll never forget him from Big Fat Liar. Big Fat Liar. Paul Giamatti is my favorite. Just my childhood there. Now, number 5, Anatomy of a Fall. Anatomy of a Fall for me, great sort of mystery. I was not gonna lie, I'm not a big horror person. I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to that stuff, but this really wasn't scary at all. I mean, you see the fall, and that's probably about as bad as it gets. But then it goes into this really like mystery, sort of like legal drama almost kind of thing, and you really feel for the characters involved. You don't know, did this woman murder her husband? Did she not? Was it the son? Did he commit suicide? It's just so hard to tell, and it's got that sort of like French sort of new wave style almost of like not going to tell you definitively one way or the other. And I just think those stories are awesome. I know sometimes that can kind of throw people off, which we'll get to in a moment, but I really love that as well. Now, number 4 is probably a little bit of a surprise to people, but they cloned Tyrone. My name's Tyrone, obviously, but cloned Tyrone to me, I just thought really, really just well done. It really surprised me to see Jamie Foxx come out and just crush the way that he did. I thought that Tiana Paris, we see her in the Marvel universe. Really, I don't think they treat her the way that they could in that universe. And same with John Boyega, like had some projects. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna say it. They have white directors, white producers, and I feel like those producers really I mean, this is just my opinion. I don't think that they really know how to handle those actors to bring out the best of their abilities. And Jewel Taylor does such a good job here. I think that you could just tell that the environment was safe for the actors to play with. Jamie Foxx has a really nice revival here. It's just absolutely fantastic. That's one of those movies that I'm like, okay, I want to like give it some space so I can like be like, oh, I kind of forget it. When I go back and watch it again, I'm like, man, this is funny. And yeah, in sci-fi, but kind of hood and like my one of my favorite movies of all time, Moonlight. I love the idea of like flipping the stereotype of what you expect a movie set in the hood to be about. And I just really love that. Number 3, Barbie. I mean, Barbie. There's a little bit of an inflation here, I'll admit, and it's simply because I did not think this movie was going to be this good. I really, really didn't. It was beautifully done, perfectly executed to me. The music, I mean, that Billie Eilish song, I'm sure people were tired of it, but every damn time I hear that Billie Eilish song, I'm just like, okay, I love women. It's just, it was so well done. So, like, I love how unserious but serious it was. It was a great balance, kind of like what I mentioned earlier about, entertaining movies, not sometimes they get like the short end of the stick when it comes to being critically praised. But I thought this was really, really just well executed and well deserved the flowers that it got. Number 2, The Boy and the Heron. Miyazaki is just unbelievable as always. You don't need to know anything about any story that you ever watch from him. You can always trust that he's going to take you on an adventure, on a ride. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to have fun. You're going to cry. You're going to laugh. You're going to feel family and just, it really just is a strong, strong piece. And I saw the dub version. I thought Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson, like, Christian Bale, like it was a star-studded cast. I think Florence Pugh was in there, so they just had this really strong cast that just did such a great job. And man, I left that just being like, I can't believe this is the last one he's given us. But I think he's kind of pulling the old Jordan Belfort. I'm not finished. I think he's giving one more. So we'll see. Prayers that we get that. And then number 1 for me was Spider-Verse. And, I think the Spider-Verse did a lot of things that I talked about with the rest of these stories all combined well for me. It had entertaining value. There was, some really heartfelt things there. Like there was some moments where they talked about, sort of like the civil rights, Black Lives Matter kind of stuff going on. There was moments where it's talking about, like police brutality and like, there's moments where it's like power struggles. I thought they did. And the thing that really made me go, this is number 1 for me was it was just so you could tell this is one of these projects that it's like we're not going to get too many of these in the future where people collaborate from so many different scopes of life and art and come together to tell this story. And I think Miles Morales as a character, there's so much that could have gone wrong, so much that they could have not given this character his moment. And I honestly, truly think this could be a hot take that Miles Morales will become more popular than Peter Parker at some point. I genuinely think that. I know that's a hot take.
That
And
is a hot take.
it is, but I like, I just see the way my younger cousins are and their friends, and like they just think Miles is the coolest character ever, and like just relatable, and it kind of makes me think of like, like sometimes with superheroes, the ones that aren't as over the top, super powered, more grounded, are a little bit more likable, and I just love that, and I thought that the way this one ended, I know it upset a lot of people because they're like, you can't just end the movie that way, but I think it was well deserved, well earned. And just one little tidbit is I love that they had like a kid who was like, 10 or 12 or whatever, make a scene in this movie. And it just goes to show that when people come together to tell a story and put their heart into it, and it's not just about the money, that you could really tell strong stories. And I think there's this idea in Hollywood right now that superhero movies can't be told, and sci-fi movies can't be told, and animation isn't powerful, and you can't make parody. And I'm looking at my top 4 right now, and I'm like, they just disprove all of that. And I just think what people want is a story that is original, genuine, and allow the artist to be artists and not have that corporate sort of puppeteering involved in it. So that's my top 10. And Marley, go ahead, you take it away.
That's a beautiful top 10. Hold on, I don't know why. Yeah, that's a beautiful.
It's
top
beautiful.
10.
Get it off the screen.
That's a beautiful top 10, Tyrone. One thing I'd like to add about like what you said about like the whole Spider-Verse, about Miles being like the more popular than Spider-Man, than Peter Parker. I actually agree with you, just because, especially on like just the reception of Spider-Man 2, like the video game. There's so many people that I know that actually like they were more excited to play as Miles, in that game, and like even the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. It's like it's one of those things. The reason why I like Miles Morales more as well is because like even the Peter Parker like version is like the MCU version, the Tom Holland one. He doesn't feel like Spider-Man anymore. Miles Morales actually hangs out in his burrow and like and actually like helps out the people. He's a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Unlike what they're trying to do with Tom Holland. But
yeah,
yeah.
And I think that's what's been missing from some of these things. And even like, you think about the Tobey Maguire version and like Andrew Garfield, it's like some of the like villains that they've gone against are like, so it's so over the top, where I think Miles feels so grounded and rooted. And that's because he's rooted in his culture, and who he is and his universe. His universe, Brooklyn, is alive. It's a character itself, right? And I think, when you look at some of the best stories, and again, and this is just my list, obviously it's not the definitive, but the world building of my top 4, it's like that's what makes it. Even John Wick, that's what makes it so special. Is that world building and trusting the audience to like, want to be in that new world. You know what I mean? I think that's what it does really well.
Yeah, I love that so much. Meagan, do you have any like final thoughts on Tyrone's list? Or there's some crossovers a little bit from what I could see, but
yeah, there's some crossovers. It's just the placement, I have to admit, for mine is a little bit controversial, but you know what? It is all good. But honestly, I do have mad respect for Spider-Man being number 1. I mean, that's like a lot of people's number 1s. For me, it was just a little bit too long. There's some things that need to be cut. But other than that, like, I think it's a really great film, and I enjoyed it too. And it is a part of my list, but just because some of the stuff seems to drag on a bit. But upon rewatch, I actually ranked it a little bit higher than I would have before. So
yeah.
Well, speaking of your list, Meagan, do you want to talk about your list?
Yes, and again, it is a very controversial, but it's okay. And this is based off of favoritism. So it's not based off of quality or what's the best movie, whatever. It's based off of what were my personal favorites.
Absolutely.
So going at number 10, Air, this movie surprised me. Like, I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. It's what they call a corporate biopic, and I really like that genre. Actually, like, I'm a biopic girly. Even though biopics are like Oscar bait, whatever, I still like biopics. And I thought, and I'm like a sneakerhead too, and I really enjoyed this movie. And I'm from Oregon, so Nike is just like ingrained in Oregon, especially with the past few decades too. So
Yeah.
yeah, the attention to detail in this movie is incredible. I don't know if they actually filmed it in Oregon. I don't think they did, but they
Mm.
made it look like Nike's WHQ World Headquarters,
Yeah.
from back in the day and all that. Like, I just admire the attention of detail. Some of the dialogue reminded me of things from Oregon and like all of that and how people talk, and it's just I adore this movie a lot. So there's
That's
Air.
that's how I
Spider-Man.
felt too. That's how I felt too about the holdovers for sure. Yeah, I get that.
But Spider-Man, I have it at number 9, but again, it was like, not saying it's a bad movie whatsoever. It's really good. It just seems a little bit long for me,
Hmm.
but it's just like what you said, Tyrone. Like, it's such a great movie. I love Miles Morales in this, and like, it's the neighborhood Spider-Man thing. He embodies the character so much, and I really like how they utilize the multiverse and the different characters. And Toby is like my favorite character. He's hilarious. Derek Kaluuya just did that. The voice acting is so good in this. Like, I
Yeah.
know a lot of voice actors now has gone to, like, voice acting roles have gone to actors, and that's a whole nother conversation. But this is really good. The voice acting is top notch in this, and honestly, the actors don't really sound like themselves, or at least they're
Hmm.
able to actually act through the roles and not like, oh, I can hear this person. I mean,
Right.
except with Issa Rae's character a little bit, I can kind of, I wasn't really transformed with her. But again, it's not saying she did a bad job. But again, it was really, I don't know. Everyone did a great job, though.
I get you.
Okay. So number 8, The Holdovers. I actually watched this about 2 days ago. Absolutely loved it. Loved it. So this is a new entry, and I didn't mention this in my review on Instagram and TikTok because, again, new entry. But The Holdovers is now a really great Christmas movie. It's
Hmm.
like I don't know if it's like a Christmas movie or a movie that happens to take place during Christmas. I think the director says the latter.
Yeah.
But like, oh man, I enjoyed it so much. It was funny. Like, I felt myself talking to the screen a lot and reacting out loud. I was just like, like that type of stuff. Like, yeah, it's a very beautiful story, very emotional. Yeah, the characters were very realistic. Paul Giamatti does a amazing job, and yeah, he really deserves that Golden Globe that he got. And yeah, just everyone did so great. I enjoyed it a lot. They cloned Tyrone, my number 7. I enjoyed this movie too. I really like how it was inspired by blaxploitation films, and the filmmaking was so good, even though it takes place in modern day. The cadence of the dialogue really felt like that. Um, Amazing performances. John Boyega, incredible. One of my favorite performances of the year. Tiana Paris as well. Incredible movie. Like, yeah, I loved it. Bottoms. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Bottoms. Bottoms is funny. It's such a funny movie. I watched it with my best friend because we were trying to decide between that movie and rewatching Barbie. And we chose Bottoms because I was like, I need to watch something new because I don't feel like crying over Barbie. That movie makes me cry like the more I watch it. So I'm like, I need to watch something funny. I need to watch something silly. And Bottoms is that. It reminds me a lot of early 2000s movies. It's very obscure. It's very over the top. Some things don't make any sense at all, and that is what is so funny about it. A lot of the comedy is in the background, so like, so you have to pay attention. Like, there's this one scene when they're in the classroom, and then there's a kid that's in a cage, just randomly, and then it's just like, wait, what?
That movie was crazy. It was.
The movie is so crazy, and then they follow up to that again, and like, see, so it's not random stuff that happens because it's just random. It just, there's callbacks to it later on.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's the writing is so brilliant. Rachel Sennett is amazing. She's becoming one of my favorite actresses. Same thing with Io Debris. Man, she's in her bag this year, and I'm so happy.
Boston, Dorchester, same hood as me, so I love that.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yep.
But yeah, no,
She was
I
in so many things this year. She was in like The Bear. She was in Bottoms, like you said.
Abbott.
Then Abbott Elementary.
Elementary, yep.
And then there's one more thing that she was in. I can't remember, but
I can't,
yeah, she might have been in Barbie. Never know.
right? We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's in her bag this year. She's so talented. And she's so funny, and like the lines of dialogue are hilarious. I like her rant that she has in the beginning and stuff. Like it's so funny. But yeah, I enjoyed Bottoms a lot, and I can't like I want to own this movie. It's so funny. And Priscilla. Okay, going from funny to dramatic. Priscilla, really great biopic. I actually find this movie a good companion piece to Elvis. I mentioned this in my TikTok as well, but yeah, it doesn't feel contradictory. It doesn't feel like it's trying to go like, oh, screw the Elvis movie. This is Priscilla. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be really I forgot the word, but yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's trying to be
like
contrarian.
competitive or yeah,
competitive, contrarian, that type of thing. It feels like it adds more context where Baz Luhrmann's lacks. Not saying Baz Luhrmann's is bad or anything. It's just like I feel like it fills in the gaps, which makes it a really good companion piece. And the same thing with the Baz Luhrmann film too, Priscilla. That fills in the stuff that Priscilla lacks. But I really love Sofia Coppola's filmmaking in this, and Priscilla lived a very isolated life, or at least it shows it through this biopic. And Sofia Coppola does isolation really well. Like another movie that I adore of hers is Marie Antoinette. So I felt the same type of isolation that Marie Antoinette found, and you see the same thing with Priscilla being at Graceland and trying to go to school because again she was a teenager, and dating this big rock star and everything. And Kaylee Spaney, she does an amazing job. Great performances because she plays Priscilla from 14 when she met Elvis. That's history, y'all. And
canceled.
Right?
It was a different time. It wasn't
that different. Right.
Not trying to excuse it. I'm not trying to excuse it.
It wasn't that different, I promise you. But
it wasn't that different, Marley. Okay, we're not going to debate about that. But no, it's not that different. Because people canceled Jerry Lee Lewis when he married his 13-year-old cousin. So there you go. Same time.
Yeah, 13-year-old cousin. That's where we kind of.
Only in America, right?
When you keep it in the family.
But anyway, it goes from that part to when she divorced Elvis and everything. But again, it's a very great movie. And Jacob Elordi is actually really good as Elvis as well. And
not surprising.
I still think Austin Butler did Elvis better, to my personal opinion. But Jacob Elordi was good. But yeah, really beautiful film. I enjoyed it. Okay, number 4, Suzume. This was on the top of my list for a majority of 2023. Like a vast majority. I think I watched it in April, I want to say, and I watched it in theaters. I was the only one in theaters, and I watched the Japanese version, so the
sub.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, this movie is beautiful. Like I got misty towards the end. It's gorgeous. It's so beautiful, both as in the plot, for like visually, the animation is just like I actually took a couple pictures while I was at the theater. I'm like, this is so pretty, and I'll probably a story or something. But I'm just like, this is so gorgeous. Like I was blown away, and the story is very interesting as well. It's about this girl who finds this abandoned building, and then she finds this door that goes to a portal. There's this cute guy or guy that she thinks he's cute, and he's like telling her about this portal, and then he gets turned into a stool. So they have to change him back to human, and then all this other stuff happens. So yeah, it's a very interesting film. I loved it so much, and definitely check it out when it's available.
That was on my list for a long time, and I missed it in the theaters, and I was just like, I'm not gonna forgive myself unless I see this in the theater. So I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah,
It,
I think right now it's streaming on Crunchyroll.
I
Yeah.
If
believe so
anyone has
too. I
that
think it's a Crunchyroll production, or at least it had something to do with Crunchyroll. I remember,
Mhm.
but
I have to ask Megan, since you love Suzumi so much, what you think? Have you seen Your Name? Because it's by the same
I
person.
haven't yet, and I heard it was really
Oh,
good, and that's been on my
Your
list
Name?
forever.
Oh, dude. Woo.
Chef's
Mhm.
kiss.
Woo.
Chef's
It's been on my
kiss.
list forever, so I need to
2016
find it somewhere.
2016 was a special year in cinema. That's all I can say, man. Oh my
Mm.
lord.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. We just watched that I think on the last episode, I think, of the Real Lovers podcast. So
That's why I watched it. Yep.
yeah, that's it's such a special film. So I'm super excited to check Suzumi off my
Oh,
watch list.
it's worth it. I always recommend it to people.
Mm.
But Barbie, loved Barbie. I saw it 4 times. It's so good. It's funny, and like I said before, it made me cry. Billie Eilish's song was really great. Um, it's and it's also hilarious too. And yeah, it's as a Barbie fan, like as someone grew up with it, someone that collected it, who has family members that are Barbie collectors, they hit the nail
Yep.
on the head, and I'm really glad that they took risk with this and actually addressed the controversies of Barbie, which is
Mhm.
like really impressive for Mattel and Warner Brothers to do.
Yeah, right.
But
Right.
I'm glad that they did because it made it a meteor film. And a lot of people were like, I just want a fun, lighthearted film, which I'm like, okay, fair, because a lot of
Yeah.
films take themselves too seriously. But I thought this was a very interesting approach. And knowing Greta Gerwig, I kind of figured it was going to have a feminist approach because
Yep,
a lot
sure.
of her films are like that. So yeah, I wasn't surprised by that too, like other people were. But
I really enjoyed after we did a stream together and you just like broke it down, and I thought that was so fun. That was like one of my favorite streams of the year.
it was.
That I did with you. It was so fun just talking about the different like Easter eggs and all that good stuff. There were so many, and I was just really interesting. I was listening to Margot Robbie talk about this movie, and she said like she was like I Tanya. I've had produced all these other movies. I want like I think Oscar nominated maybe.
Mhm.
Or one, right? And she was like, I was literally fighting with these people all the time, just being like, just trust me. And and it's so funny to think about like how it's like you're writing this story about women and like, like women not being like listened to and like, the power that they have, all these and like you have this powerful woman in Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie and Issa Rae, and it's just all these like really powerful women in Hollywood, and it's like they were still fighting to try to make the movie that they wanted to make. And and like I said about Miles and a lot of things, it's like I really hope that this like Hollywood kind of goes, maybe we should trust the artist a little bit more and let them create what they want to create.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Like my whole thing with the Barbie movie and everything, like they had to really fight for this movie, and the movie was so good. I'm so glad that is the highest grossing film of the year. But then with that being said, there's going to be a lot of Tory movies that probably won't do it justice. And there might be a Barbie sequel, and I kind of don't want that to happen. Like
Yeah.
I saw the actress on actors interview with Margot Robbie, Cillian Murphy, and that's one of the things that she mentioned too. She was just like, I don't see Barbie having a sequel, but you know how studios are, they might
Right.
want to kind of push it. But
Right.
if they do a Barbie movie or Barbie sequel, there should be an Alan movie, and they should bring
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that'd be
That's
awesome.
like for
only
Alan.
Barbie sequel that I want. I need an Alan movie.
Michael Cera, sign me up.
Michael Cera is amazing. He's
Oh
amazing.
God, dude, those
He's so good
moments,
in the movie.
like
He's
those
so
are some
good.
of the best scenes in the entire year.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, like and he's just so spot on, so good, so niche of what you need. Oh, Michael Cera, just love him.
Mhm. Like I definitely want an Alan movie, and just knowing the history of Alan, he was like a short-lived doll, and actually there was only one version of Alan too, which is why there's only one Alan. And they could really go into that too, and like
Yeah.
there was a like a rumor or whatever that Alan was supposed to be Kim's boyfriend, so they could
Right,
go
yep.
into like that type of stuff, and
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe touch on homophobia. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm-
yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like it can
Totally.
be
It's
very
funny. It's funny because if there is an Alan movie, I feel like you could take like a Saltburn approach, which is your next film on on your list.
Dan
No,
Levi or
Saltburn
Levy,
approach.
whatever.
Absolutely not. But anyway, Saltburn. Okay, controversial pick because this is a very
Is it? Is it a controversial take? I respect you so much for putting it too.
high. Especially being like so high. Like honestly, Saltburn was honestly one of my favorite movies, and that's why it's so close to the top.
I've only heard good things.
Because okay, the cinematography is absolutely incredible. It's the same cinematographer as what movie is that? The
Babylon.
I'll look it up.
Babylon, yes,
Yeah.
Babylon,
He
which
did
was
Babylon.
great. Yeah, and also La La Land. Yeah,
Oh, so they
he's
cooked.
in it
Yeah,
back.
for sure.
Yeah, so
Linus Sandgren.
yes, Linus Sandgren. Yeah, but yeah, absolutely amazing cinematography from him. And honestly, I really like the story. Some people thought it was just like a lot of people didn't like the story, but I actually loved it because I'm like a literature girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that there was a lot of like old Gothic literary references in there. One of which they have a Midsummer Night's Dream party, and knowing Shakespeare and everything, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool and stuff. And I definitely want to research like some of the other Gothic motifs because obviously from the kind of the aesthetic of the film too, it balances out that old Gothic look with in a Gothic feeling story to 2007 England, and I absolutely love the soundtrack too. I feel like 2007 has some of the best music of history. It was a lot of fun. I felt very nostalgic watching this movie. Some of the fashions were cringe, but I'm like, I definitely wore some of them.
The one thing that, especially what you just said there, Megan, the one thing that bothers me the most about Saltburn and really most of the movies that came out this year was that you just said 2007 made you feel nostalgic. It makes me, especially since it's my birthday today as we're doing this recording, but it makes me feel very old, like when people are like, oh, the early 2000s, that's vintage, and I'm like,
I mean, it was 14 years ago.
No,
almost,
it's 16 years ago.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's like.
But you know what? Whatever. We would get to this point eventually. You know what I mean? But it's really funny how Emerald Fennell, she actually was like, I wanted it to take place in 2007 so it can look old and also people could still smoke inside at that point in time too. So she's like, nothing feels so old than people smoking indoors, especially in like public and stuff. So but even though this movie is like is one of my favorites, I don't recommend it to everyone because it is gross. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers today about Saltburn, and he was just like, I don't want to watch it, but I've heard a lot of things about it. And then a lot of people talk about the bathtub scene, but I'm like, not many people talk about the grave scene because it is a spoiler. But I'm like, the grave scene is more disturbing.
Or the vampire scene. Or the
vampire
scene. It's a vampire scene?
Well, it's not literally a vampire, but
it's basically.
But it's basically
okay.
it.
Right. Okay.
It's wild. So yeah, those are the more shocking elements that people are like, nope, I can't with this movie. But no, this movie actually has a really good twist ending, and the more you watch it, the more you kind of understand the twist. And honestly, everyone's so good in this movie. Barry Keoghan is amazing. He always kind of plays like creepy characters or awkward characters, but I kind of like that for him. You know what? I want Barry Keoghan and Mia Goth to be in a movie together. They'll be so great as co-stars. That's a horror movie. But also the thing about Saltburn too. Saltburn is really funny. If you have a dark sense of humor, you're gonna love Saltburn. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay.
I was like
Love
scream
it.
laughing. It's like really
I was like giggling in the theater when I saw Saltburn in the theater. I was like sinking down in my seat, giggling, and I'm just like, I've never been more vocal when watching a movie in a theater.
it's a movie you got to talk through. I mean, like not when you're in theaters because I had a bad experience with that, but like when you're at home, like I showed it to my boyfriend recently too. And we were like talking and making jokes throughout, and he has a dark sense of humor too. But he was like, "Hey, this is interesting. This is entertaining." Like his eyes were closed the entire time, but when the twist happened, his jaw like dropped. He was like, "What?" And talking, and I'm like, "Yeah." But one of my favorite things about Saltburn is people's reactions to Saltburn. So yeah, just hearing everyone respond to it is just funny, and I can honestly understand why Emerald Fennell made this film. But
I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch that. And someone told, like, I had a friend who said that they cried watching it. They were like, I didn't think I'd be moved. I don't know what that's about, but like,
That's an interesting take. But
yeah, I know. And I
don't know what they cried at.
I was like, I've only heard people like say that they cringed or like, oh, like, so I don't know what they cried at, but man. But anyway,
well, there is like some sad moments, like sad and shocking. Again, that's why I'm saying like this film is like not for the faint of heart at all. Like there's like a very like shocking like graphic scene in there that might be triggering to people. So
maybe
that. Okay. So it might be that, but then yeah. But other than that, like this movie is interesting. But again, I don't recommend it, but I loved it. So if you're a sick person like me, I recommend it. Yeah. But Godzilla -1 is my number one. This one I actually recommend to people.
Please don't spoil this. Please don't spoil this. Please don't spoil this.
I'm not spoiling it. Okay. I'm not spoiling it. I'm not spoiling it. It is so good. So, like, okay, so just getting the stereotypes out of the way. It's not an American remake. It's actually a Japanese film. So you're not going to get like some Godzilla versus Kong nonsense.
That's premiering next month.
No hate to the people that like Godzilla versus Kong, but that wasn't my favorite. I fell asleep on it multiple times.
Like Spike Lee says, not my cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea. Exactly. Was not my cup of tea. But Godzilla -1 was. It is so good. Really great ensemble cast. Like I haven't mentioned this in my review. Like there was a baby that was in the movie, and the baby was a great actress too. I'm like, holy crap! Like the baby is eating this roll up. Like what?
They're different in Japan.
Built different. Like, they're built different.
I'm just kind of like, yo, is the baby actually acting or what?
Call the Academy. Call the Academy. Get that baby an Oscar.
Oh my god.
Like the baby's like 2 years old or something by the end of the movie or so. But I'm like, no, what?
Yo,
but yeah, the movie is so good. And like don't sleep on this movie because you hate reading subtitles. Like, you just watch it, y'all. Like you'll be able to keep up with the dialogue, you'll be able to keep up with the action. Godzilla looks amazing in this. He's so scary. And I'm not gonna ruin it, but he does this really interesting transformation that's like, whoa, what the heck's going on? Like it's
I have a question for you. So I am a straw hat, so I was actually watching this, and I saw, like, let's just say the first 7 minutes of this movie. Then I was like, I can't. I gotta watch this in theaters. Do you think this is like you must see in theaters, or can you see this on streaming?
Oh, that's a hard one because I saw it twice in theaters actually, and it's that good. I think you could probably see it on the small screen, but the big screen it just hits different.
Okay,
it just hits different. So.
Well, I would actually say that you need to see this on the big screen just because Godzilla is especially for Japan, it's an epic cinematic universe like in Japan. So and I feel like Godzilla -1, it just barely missed my list. We'll get into that in a minute, but but I totally agree with you, Meagan. Like this is like a completely epic film that is. I heard a lot of people saying, and I totally agree with them. It's almost like a companion piece to to Oppenheimer.
It
Because
really is.
I'm
a lot of people are saying like, oh, Christopher Nolan didn't mention like that Oppenheimer killed like hundreds of thousands of Japanese people.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know that that's what Godzilla was based on. So they actually touched on that in Godzilla -1. And,
They did. And they do
yeah.
it so well too, and that's why. And honestly, the first time I was watching it too, I was just like, "Yeah, this is a really good companion piece of Oppenheimer," even though it's not like directly, but it you could see the allegory like really well, and because it does take place in 1940s Japan, and like it starts off 2 days before World War II ends. So yeah, right before the bombing and everything, and yeah, right before the the events of Oppenheimer, So it just like it's surprisingly a really good companion piece, and actually a better companion piece than Barbie, even though Barbenheimer was. But yeah, like in Oppenheimer actually barely made my list. Barely made my top 10 as well, but actually made my honorable mentions. But yeah, but Godzilla -1, ooh, highly recommended to anyone. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Friday, I'm there. I gotta see this movie. I've been dying to see this movie.
That's a great list, Megan. I love Godzilla -1, and once again, I'm glad that you put Saltburn at number 2, just because I hear a lot of people just hating on that movie lately. They're saying it's a little surface level, but I don't think it's surface level at all.
It is not. It ate. But here's the thing about Saltburn. Like a lot of people are comparing it to this other movie called the Talented Mr. Ripley or something. Yeah. I think that's what it's called. And I haven't seen that movie, so I'll probably watch that and then Saltburn and see how compares. But Saltburn will always have a place in my heart. I don't even
care. Same here.
Your top 10, Marley. Woo.
Do people really want to know my top 10? No, I did not put Fast 10 in every slot.
I'm dead.
Oh shoot.
Okay, we're gone.
Wait. Wait, hold on. I'm so struggling. Okay,
there you go.
Yeah. I'll cut that out in the recording. But yeah, my top 10 films of 2023. Starting off with number 10, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think this is the best, and really the best MCU film that we got throughout the entire year of 2023, which is
this just missed my list too.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. James Gunn is just like an absolute masterclass when it comes to like stories like this. It really is more of a James Gunn movie than an MCU film, and but also plays very well as kind of like James Gunn leaving the MCU and giving his final goodbye. It absolutely ripped my heart out with the whole Rocket Raccoon storyline. I won't reveal too much of it.
Yes, I was a wreck during the movie.
Real, that was nuts.
Yeah, if you are sensitive with animals being hurt on screen, I probably wouldn't recommend this one, but it's still
glad I didn't bring my fiance because that was rough.
It's still a really great end for the Guardians of the Galaxy like trilogy, and it's really Guardians of the Galaxy was like one of my favorite like Marvel like universes. I absolutely love this film. But yeah, number 9, Talk to Me. Really the best horror movie that came out in 2023. It totally surprised me. I didn't know anything about the Philippou or whatever brothers that they became famous on YouTube, but this is their first directorial debut. This is their directorial debut, like feature film, and I totally loved like the aesthetic for Talk to Me, and just like the whole thing about how, especially like how like a Gen Z would probably like handle like a party trick like this, like the whole like holding like a demon hand and stuff like that, and just allowing these demons to like to basically come into their bodies. I always thought it was I thought it was kind of like a unique way to kind of like tell like a Gen Z story, but in a horror setting. I absolutely love Talk to Me. It's really great.
Like that. What was the other one? There was like a similar like with Pete Davidson. Wasn't there like sort of like a
Bodies. I love that movie so much. That's one of my favorite.
I'm a little controversial on that one. I thought like Bodies was a little too cringe for me. This is why I feel like Talk to Me was more.
It's
it
hard
was
to
more,
it's hard to judge oneself, Marley. I know it's hard
yeah,
to when you're a millennial watching millennials. I get it.
yeah, true. But I just think that they handled like the whole Gen Z aspect like a lot better than Bodies. But I feel like I'm alone in that one. But
I still have to watch Talk to Me, so I can't make any judgment. But
Yeah.
I just thought Bodies. That Bodies was one of my favorite films of last year. I love it. I own it now. It's so good.
and I had to put Talk to Me on this list just because I have 3 other films like on my list where it was their directorial debuts, and 2023 was like a huge year for people making like their first film and doing really well. But Talk to Me, really great horror film, not for the faint of heart, but definitely still check it out.
It looked very interesting, and I don't play with horror, but I was like, I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks legit. So I really did think like just from the trailer you can tell that like they had their own aesthetic and sort of approach to it. So I'm glad that you gave it its flowers here too, because I've heard a lot of people really like this one as well. It was on a lot of top 10 lists that I saw.
Yeah. Number 8 was Poor Things, which
Be honest.
I honestly went in. I'm not the biggest fan of Yorgos Lanthimos. I think that I'm not like I don't hate his films, but whenever I walk away from like one of his films, I'm always kind of like, well, that's good, and I'm not totally into it. But Poor Things like totally changed that for me. Emma Stone's performance is absolutely just like it. Like I was totally engaged like the entire time. It really is. I heard someone say this, especially I forget who actually said it, but they called it Barbie, but for brunettes.
Weird brunette. You know what? Even from the trailers, I got that vibe. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm like, this feels like a Barbie movie, but not.
Yeah. It's basically
like an artsy Barbie movie.
Basically an artsy Barbie movie, and I totally appreciated that, and just also
Barbie for the emo girls.
threw in some
Barbie
like
I'm not like other girls.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Meagan, you're killing me.
So many great like performances, like I said, like from Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo as well, basically playing his own version of Ken in a way. But Poor Things is great. I love the aesthetic. I love it's actually a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. But I love Poor Things. But
Yorgos, I love him.
Yeah. Next at number 7, I have Barbie. Kind of a little self-explanatory. Have the 2 Barbie movies like right next to each other. I love this film. I don't think I saw it as many times as you did, Megan. I only saw it twice.
I don't think anyone did.
I only saw it twice, and that's usually a pretty rare occurrence for me because I just lack of time. I usually can't find like more time in the day to see like a movie twice. But I had to see this movie twice just because I love like the set design. I love the way this film looks. Ken isn't Knuff. He's Knuff.
Yeah.
I just love the vibes of like this entire movie. Like everything within the movie, I love the vibes. And then like I saw this opening night. I loved just what this movie brought to people going back to the cinema. I love that I love like it worked for Oppenheimer, but I think Barbie actually kind of helped with like that energy as well. Just because I sat in the theater alone because I go to movies alone, but there was just I almost really felt like leaving and going to like a morning show, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna ride this one out because everyone in my theater was wearing pink. They're all getting dressed up, and I love when people have like the same enthusiasm for a movie like I do pretty much for every movie that I watch. So that's something that I can respect. Give Barbie its flowers for just getting people excited for watching movies, especially in the theater.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
I agree. Like that was one thing. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that was one great experience of watching Barbie during opening weekend. Same thing with Oppenheimer too. I watched Barbie first, but like it felt like, and again, you'll understand why I was like, oh, 2007 and nostalgic. It felt like the Twilight movies
Hmm.
again, like Harry Potter movies when they came out there. Like
Yes.
people were like dressed up, people were ready. Like, well, I went to like a Twilight opening premiere night, so I had like my
Hmm.
Team Jacob
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and everything. Like, even though Jacob is a creep, but whatever. We were gonna and but it was a moment. Like I went with one of my other
Yeah.
friends too, and like we both wore pink, and we were so excited. We made a day out of it. We went to like dinner, and then we went to Barbie, and we were super
I
hyped.
think,
And I was just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna go to a sold out show. Like I was
yeah.
actually getting nervous because the line was actually like out the theater. Like
Mm.
it was a line out the door. So
So,
I was just like, oh my goodness, like, are we actually gonna get tickets? And she was like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna get tickets. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. And we were able to get there, and we got there just in the nick of time. Like we saw the Warner Bros. Logo. So we're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
we're good to go.
The last time we had something kind of to this magnitude, in my opinion, I think was like maybe like a Black Panther.
Yeah,
Like Black Panther, like, and I know everyone the end game was a thing, but like people weren't dressing up. Like Black Panther, there are people like full on dressed up, like it was like this funeral kind of thing for Black Panther 2.
yeah.
They did the same kind of thing. So that was really
Mhm.
cool. And I think something that I really enjoyed about Barbie is it felt like, as far as the gender spectrum goes, like there was people across so many different genders, age ranges, just there and like excited, involved. Like I was sitting next to this old couple. It was these two old guys wearing pink, and they were like, I want to say 70. And then like in the front, like two rows ahead, there was like these young girls who were like, maybe like 7. And I'm like, this is like a cultural moment that we're gonna remember forever. And
Hmm.
so yeah, no, Barbie, as you said, that was such a fun experience to have that event last year, and I think we all needed it. Let's be honest. I
We
mean, the
do.
past couple years have been rough. Top Gun obviously was a moment, but we really needed something to just get excited about going back to the theaters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the thing about Top Gun, I'll move on to the rest of my list, but you brought up Top Gun. I want to say like this one thing is that the thing about Top Gun is that it, I feel like the crowd that I saw it with, they're pretty much like the same type of people that you would expect going to a Top Gun movie, kind
Yeah,
of like rah American. The thing that I loved
yeah,
about Barbie is that it was just everyone from all walks of life,
yeah,
Yeah.
and we may be
absolutely.
divided on so many issues like lately, but at least like we could all kind of like drop like those differences, and we could all agree that Barbie was really great. So
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
yeah, but my number 6 pick was same as you, Tyrone is missing. I honestly thought I was the only one that liked this film, just because I really
This
love like
barely made my list too. It's so good. I loved it.
Yeah,
I, I love
I
the
remember Megan.
first I love the first film, Searching, with the shoot, who's
I'll look it
the
up for you.
yeah. But I love that first one. So when I heard that they were making a sequel, I was like, give me more of these. Give me more of these like screen movies. I'm gonna call them screen movies, just because I think just there's so many ways to tell a story like nowadays, and the way they told the story like within screens, and like getting people's like passwords and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I thought like that added to the mystery like so much, and like everything that you said, Tyrone, just like the performances were really great, and I felt like
Yeah.
it added a more grounded like story as well. Like
Yeah,
not
versus
saying
the
like
John Cho version.
yeah,
Yeah,
not saying that the John Cho story was not like grounded, but
hmm
it felt more real for
totally.
me. I absolutely love
And I love and Storm's too, like her performance, just like how her reaction with the mom was just so Gen Z, like young kid, like leave me alone kind of thing,
hmm
and to the point where it's like, wait, I miss my mommy, because that's how it is, right? It's like you,
hmm
you get away from me, parent, and then they're actually away, and you're like, wait a minute.
right.
Like, what's going on? The twist was crazy. I'm not gonna get into it for spoilers because, like, but I was like shook it. I was just like, what?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I glued to the screen. Like, honestly, I was just like, I love this movie too.
Yeah,
And
it's
another-
just the only thing that makes me like kind of scared about like missing, like if they were to make like my story where people are trying to find me like through my phone and like passwords and accounts, I'm like I have two-factor authentication pretty much on everything, so that's going to be a very short movie and people aren't going to find it. But,
Oh my god. And this was also another one of these movies too, just for the crowd. Like, it may seem like it's a scary horror movie. It's really not. It's more
It's
thriller and more like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? Like kind of almost like an Uncut Gems where you're like on the edge of your street or at every edge of your seat at every scene kind of thing.
yeah, I would put it more like a crime thriller for sure, just because people are like trying to like figure out like even the audience would be like figuring out what's going on, and I love like movies that have like that puzzle like aspect to it. So, but yeah, Missing was number 6. Number 5 is another directorial debut from A.V. Rockwell, 1001. I feel like I feel like I'm totally alone on this one for sure.
You're not. This one, like, if it wasn't for the holdovers, and if it wasn't for like. This just all these other movies, dude. Okay, I think this one was like my number 12 or 13 or something like this.
This movie was also hard to get. Like it wasn't in theaters near me. Like it was in theaters for such a short amount of time where it was like couldn't catch it. Couldn't catch it, but I wanted to.
It's on Amazon Prime. You need to check it out.
Okay.
It's so
please. I
another
love
subscription. Great.
Yeah, I think Tiana Taylor does like the performance of the year. She probably should be nominated for an Oscar, but she most likely won't because no one's seen it. But I think this is
unfortunate. She gave such a great performance.
Yeah, I think this is a fantastic like story about just kind of like growing up in like New York and just kind of like that just like lifestyle and like raising like a child within a system that is rejecting you. I absolutely love that. And like it's about like as someone that's adopted, I love like stories about kids going through the foster care and being raised like by their parents. And I was touched by this movie. 1001 is like an instant classic for me. But yeah. Moving on to my number 4 is Right Lane. Right Lane is like is sunshine in a box. Like it's such an adorable rom-com. I love seeing like Black stories just about Black joy and just just a couple just like having like a great time. And I just just like watching Right Lane for like the 90 minutes that I believe that for the entire runtime, I had a smile on my entire on my face like the entire time. I love Right Lane like so much. So if you're into like rom-coms and like something lighthearted, I'll definitely check it out.
I don't like rom-coms, but I love this movie.
Marley, I should smack you through the computer right now. I've been asking you for rom-coms all week. You should have told me to watch this.
Well, I gotta give you my horror recommendations, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like Meagan. I'm watching The Notebook. I'm watching Nick. I'm watching like all these like old like Remember Me, and then Marley's like you check out this movie. I look up the trailer. I'm like, goodbye. he recommend. What did you recommend me? Some crazy horror movie?
Yeah, I forget what I recommended.
Oh my god,
I feel bad now.
Tyrone, have you seen Red, White, and Royal Blue?
No. What?
Okay, so it's a gay rom-com that looks like a CW movie. Like if CW made a movie.
It's very cheesy.
It's
very
so
cheesy.
corny. But
okay, yeah.
It's corny but cute. But again, it's on Amazon Prime.
we love those cheat, like especially during this season, like watching the cheesiest, like we just need that. But no, I'll definitely have to check out Riley. I'm glad that you shared this too, because there's not a lot of stories like that.
Yeah. And just like I said, just Black joy. You gotta love like any movie that celebrates that. I love Right Lane so much. Speaking of another film that I loved, but I wouldn't call it like a joyful. Well, it is kind of joyful in a way, but well, Joyride.
Oh, Joyride. So you're telling me it's not joyful?
Right.
Yeah.
I was expecting no.
Well, I
haven't
would just
seen
put
it.
I would say it's more dirty just because of the stuff
Yes.
that happens in Joyride.
I love dirty movies.
I absolutely love Joyride so much.
Yeah.
Just it's I feel like the response that a lot of people got from Bottoms, like I thought Bottoms was okay and pretty all right, but I think Joyride was my Bottoms. I think Joyride was my Bottoms just because I think that all of like these four ladies like did like just like a wonderful job of just kind of like playing off of each other and just I being like I said I am adopted. There is like like an adoption like storyline in here and like basically about like one of the characters going to find like her real parents like after she was adopted. I respond really well to like stories like that and I like the ending to this where well I don't want to spoil it but there is a really emotional ending where she gets her conclusion and it literally had me in tears because even though the Joyride is definitely like a joyful ride where you're just kind of like you're with these ladies like in their own environment and just like the escapades that they go on because it's like it definitely gets very unhinged but the movie knows when to slow down and let you breathe a little bit and I love Joyride so much but yeah my number 2 is The Boy and the Heron. This is pretty much my favorite movie that I've seen all year. I think it's my favorite Miyazaki film of all time, just because it's watching The Boy and the Heron made me feel like this is Miyazaki basically saying like, I've done a lot of movies. I'm basically kind of like calling back to pretty much all the movies that I've done before and commenting on how some of those movies are problematic, especially when I'm talking about war. But I feel like the thing that really touched me like the most was at the end with The Boy and the Heron is when because there's a lot of controversy about whether Miyazaki's son is actually going to take over for Studio Ghibli if Hayao Miyazaki does retire. And I feel like the ending to this movie, it's not really a spoiler. It's just me commenting on like what I feel like Miyazaki is saying to his son. It's basically him saying like, hey, I built like this entire company for you and I've built this legacy for myself. You can here are the blocks, make something that you're proud of, make something for your own legacy. Don't let what I make define who you are. And when I made that assumption sitting in the theater, I was crying. Tears are coming down my face. I absolutely love like stories like that about just
legacy character. It's one of the best archetypes you could, in my opinion, that you could write about. It's just because everyone has that experience. Is universal of like what your parents expect from you, what society expects of you, what your peers expect of you, right? You know, it's like you're in some circles where you make Spider-Verse your number one movie. They're like, what is this? But it's like, hey, that's my list, right? And you know, and so no, absolutely, I agree with you, Marley. I felt the same way in the theater. Where I was like, man, that was heavy.
Yeah, and it's a good movie. Like I think, I'm glad Marley you mentioned too. It's almost like a tribute to all of his other films because I definitely saw elements and bits and pieces from his previous works too. Because I grew up on Miyazaki, like a lot of millennials did. And like so, I was just like, oh, I recognize this and this motif, but it wasn't like, hey, you guys remember this one? No,
right?
At all, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, if it was Pixar, they definitely would have done it that way.
Right? Exactly. Or any type of Disney franchise. But
right.
Honestly, like, but Boy and the Heron I wouldn't say it's my favorite. Again, barely like missed the list and everything. And I feel like it needs a rewatch. But honestly, like it was a beautiful film, and there was moments that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I felt scary, but that was a really good interpretation of the ending too, because I didn't really connect the two together, but I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
out again.
And
Did you
not
watch
only
subtitle or oh, sorry, go ahead, Marley.
no, not only is it that like it has like that emotional ending, but it's also just a really fun movie too. It's Miyazaki
Sure.
basically doing his own Alice in Wonderland
Yeah.
in a way, and it's like, and I love that Miyazaki, like at the end of his career, he's finally kind of like still making the movies that he wants to make.
I
But
think his whole sort of like his ethos about who he is as a person, as a creator, is that life is too short. Appreciate life, and life like has these serious moments, but life is too short not to embrace all aspects of it, whether it's silliness, fun, freedom, playfulness, love, romance, family, right? And I think sometimes in a story you have that you're so focused on where the plot is going in that third act that you sometimes forget about the journey to get there. And like that's why I love when we have such a silly moment where it's like someone's playing with tea and like the tea starts like popping into the air and like it starts doing a dance and people start dancing and it's ridiculous and it has nothing to do with the plot, but it's like, well, yeah, because these characters are just existing, right? They're just breathing. And I think he does such a phenomenal job with that. I was going to ask you, did you all watch it in subtitle or dub? Just out of curiosity.
I watched the dub, and I'm telling you, and I'm usually a subtitle girl, but the
same.
dub version, like
It hit, right? Yeah.
Robert Pattinson did his name for this.
Mm-hmm.
He was so good, yeah, because he plays the Heron, and like, oh my goodness, like, child, he ate. He needs to do more voice acting work, like he really does.
I'm so glad you said that too, because I think a lot of time, like you mentioned earlier, like Issa Rae, it's like people just play their voice. Kevin Hart, I don't think Kevin Hart's ever actually played a voice acting where he hasn't been Kevin Hart. I know he's getting the low end of the stick this week. I didn't mean to do that, but you know what I mean? Like it's like I love when we'll actually try to perform with their voice, right? And that's what Robert Pattinson did so well. And yeah, I'm so excited to see his work next year, man. He's
yeah,
he's talented. He really is.
Hopefully, Mickey 17 will actually get a release date for that. But yeah, I saw it in sub because there was no dub versions like near me. But I feel like Tyrone, I started watching One Piece this year. You got me on that. Yeah. I feel like I've been scarred to never listen to dub just because One Piece is just so bad.
I know, yeah, it really is. The dub is not good.
Yeah. So whenever I get an opportunity, I always do sub, and like I'm not like some people. I like reading. So
yeah, and honestly, like I'm like Meagan. Like typically, I'm a sub person too, but there are some times where people like the performances you can just trust. Like one of my favorite Studio Ghibli movies isn't even Miyazaki. It's called Only Yesterday. And oh God, I'm blanking on his name from Slumdog Millionaire and Lion. Dev Patel. Thank you. Dev Patel and Daisy Ridley. That is one of the like most under like
appreciated.
Appreciated performances I've ever seen. I highly recommend you both watch Only Yesterday.
I have to check that out. Like honestly, when it comes to Miyazaki films, though, he does have really great dubbed films. Like my favorite Miyazaki film, The Kiki's Delivery Service, has the best. Like honestly, the voice acting is so good, and actually, who plays Kiki is a young Kristen Dunst. So, and she's like, I don't know, like 12 years old or something, but she is so good in this. So, yeah, like she's acting, but everyone is good in that too. But yeah, Kristen Dunst, fun fact, she voices Kiki in the U.S. English dub. Yeah.
Yeah. Only real quick. Only Yesterday is not Miyazaki. It's Isao Takahata. There's like two head guys at Studio Ghibli. Everyone always knows Miyazaki, but just wanted to mention that too. So go ahead. Sorry, Marley.
No, it's okay. But yeah, Boy and the Heron is great. Everyone should go check it out. It's heartbreaking, but it's also heartwarming as well. And then my number one, you had it on your list, Tyrone, but Dream Scenario. I need
to watch it. I'm gonna come in my local theater. I'm so mad.
Dream Scenario is like I cried at a lot of movies like this year, but I cried like pretty hard for my 1 and 2 films. Like I mentioned, Boy and the Heron, Dream Scenario. I cried just because like it totally like painted the picture of what it's like to be like a content creator and like
Yes.
going viral and like just like
Yes.
what that whole experience is like and how you're trying to like the ultimate goal obviously isn't to go viral, but when you do go viral, you're trying to like make other things work along with that and trying to get other things like off the ground. And the
Mhm.
way Nicolas Cage just plays like this character is like like it's stunning. Nicolas Cage is always stunning in pretty much
Yeah.
every role that he's in, but I feel like this one is his most personal one as well, just because just to, like hit the whole the way Nicolas Cage's career has gone throughout his entire life. It's kind of like this is like a kind of what's the word that I'm thinking of? Just it's kind of like the whole Miyazaki like for Boy and the Heron, where it's like
Mhm.
it's basically all of like Nicolas Cage's work just kind of like being packaged into
Sure.
dream scenario. But I absolutely love this film, and I made a joke that because Nicolas Cage is one of my favorite actors of all time, and
Mhm.
like one of the main premises in Dream Scenario is that everyone dreams about Nicolas Cage. I thought I was the only one that did that, but it's nice that other people dream about Nicolas Cage. But
Oh man, I can't wait to see this movie. Like you just sold it to me. I mean, I was already sold before, like watching
Yeah.
the trailer, but like that is very interesting. Like I can't wait to see it, you know.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite films of the year. I absolutely love Dream
Wait a
Scenario. But
second. And also, now I'm putting two together. Doesn't Nicholas have a movie with Daddy Pedro as well? Or did that not come out this year?
I don't think that came out this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What was it called? Like the Unbearable.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I
That
thought that
one
came out.
that one was okay. I thought
Okay.
it was actually going to be better than it actually was, but
Hmm.
it didn't really hit for me.
Okay.
But yeah, those are our personal top 10 lists
Woo!
for 2023. We actually kind of went a little bit long on that one, but it's
It's all
okay.
good.
It's okay. But yeah, let's get into building this top 10 list for the Real Lovers podcast. There are
I have a proposal.
what's the proposal?
So I noticed that we have some similarities on these lists. And so I think any that we have a similar probably should go on the list, or
I
at least
agree.
start.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So well, I'm just going to just name like the movie is like down and just stop
Mhm.
me like when you feel like that movie will be able to go on
Compete.
the list, like compete. So let's just start off heavy hitter Barbie. I feel
Yes.
like Barbie definitely should go on that list for sure.
Yeah, we all have Barbie,
Let's
I
give
think,
it
right?
a number 5 or a 4.
Okay, so
So
you're already placing. You're already doing.
Yes,
placement, Megan.
but that's
I
going
love
on the list.
it.
So-
Let's do.
we have 7, 3, 3. So you put those averages together, it's basically like a 4 or 5.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think 4 personally. What do you
Let's-
think, Megan?
4 is fine. I'm fine with 4.
Okay, let's do.
What about you,
let's do.
Marley?
Let's.
Okay.
I'll agree with you. Let's
Okay,
do
for
4.
now.
Barbie for 4. Oppenheimer. You were the only one that had Oppenheimer on your list.
Yeah, I was the only one. Yeah,
Yeah.
the second was missing. So I had missing at 7. You had missing at 6. Megan
And I
had
would have had missing.
as honorable mention. So maybe that's like a
Mhm.
like a 10.
8.
I would give it
10.
I would give
Okay.
it like a 10. Let's do a 9. Want to say
Okay.
9?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go.
I'm
let's
okay.
go 9.
I'm okay with.
We could
I'm
always
okay with 9
change
or 10.
this.
Yeah.
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 Like this isn't our first. This is a rough draft at this point. But
Okay.
yeah, missing at number 9. But
Um,
Oppenheimer. So
Ooh.
I think I was the only one that had that though.
yeah.
Right.
It's a good movie though.
So
But
Yeah.
it's not a rewatchable movie for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was
It almost didn't make my list.
honorable mentions, though.
Okay. It almost didn't
Yeah.
make your list.
Yeah.
So
It
let's
almost
not
like,
include it then.
yeah.
Let's
It was
not
like it
include
was almost not on the list. It was almost 11 for me. So
Okay.
but we how about They Clone Tyrone, because we had that at 7, that at 4, and then Marley. I don't know if you had
That
it on yours.
that was like number 12, I believe, for me.
Mhm.
for my top 20. But I'm okay with They Clone Tyrone like at number 10. I'll
Okay.
bump it up to 10.
Okay.
You cool with that? Okay, let's do that.
I'm not cool with it, but for
I'm
now.
not cool with it.
We can always change
I will
it.
put, I will put Missing as number 10 and then Nick Clone Tyrone at number 9.
I agree. But we can switch. We'll switch.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I agree though, Meagan.
But what about Boy and the Heron?
So we had. So that was 2 for me, 2 for you. So I
And
mean,
Meagan, you
Meagan
just
has
barely
That's
missed
fine. That could be 2. I don't care.
Okay. Boy and the Heron. Let's go.
and then let's see.
Okay. Let's go. Let's just throw Megan's number 1 in there. Godzilla -1.
It has to be on there. That movie slaps.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I saw the first 10 minutes and I was like, oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
slaps.
Oh yeah. Like I mean, I would find it hard for this to be anything lower than 7. And I only saw 7 minutes of it. So but
it can't it either has to be like, it has to be top 5. It has to
yeah. I mean,
top 5.
I'll try.
Yes,
I'll take your word. No, I'll take your word. I'll take your word because, like, honestly, I like it, Megan. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was watching this on my computer. Don't ask how I was doing it. Maybe I got the Oscar sent me a video, right?
You got a screener. You got a screener.
Exactly.
You got a secret screener.
and since I was so sincerely just like 7 minutes, I was like, I can't do this movie like this.
So like, I'm glad you made that decision because it needs to be seen on the big screen. You said
Marley,
3.
Marley, you're trying to fight. What
what
do you have fighting? Marley, what do you have against?
But here's the thing. I feel like you guys have seen movies that are real. They're probably, I guess, better than that. But I haven't seen those other movies.
I'm willing. You said 3. I'm willing to bump it to 5.
5 is fine. I'm fine with 5.
For now.
We can. Yeah. We don't.
We can fight later.
Yeah, we can fight later. Nerd fight. Nerd fight later.
This. So you both saw Saltburn, right?
Yes.
Yes. I threw Saltburn on there.
And I didn't see
it. I love that you put it at 2. I can't put it above Godzilla -1.
That's fine.
Put it at 6.
6 is fine. 6 is fine.
Whoa, 6. Whoa. Okay.
I'm even fine with 8 because this is my favorite movie that I wouldn't recommend to people.
Okay, so 8.
8 is fine with me.
Okay,
we'll fight it out. It's okay. It's okay.
We'll fight it out.
Only reason why I said that was because Megan, you had the holdovers at 8. I had it at 6, and then I think Marley, you had it auto.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's still on my list.
It's so
I'm
good.
willing.
I
feel like
I'm having a re-release in theaters too. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be on my local
I'm definitely gonna check that
I think
out.
you'll enjoy it, honestly.
Yeah.
You can watch it either way. I watched it on my laptop. I enjoyed it, and I think I'll enjoy it too.
Yeah,
I feel like I've been fighting a lot.
Movie.
So I'm going to leave it up to you two. Like, where should the holdovers go here?
You know what? I'm gonna switch. I'll put it at number 6.
Put it at 6.
Okay. Yeah. I was honestly I was gonna say 7, but I think I can live with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we might have to
for
switch
now.
it.
For now. We will. Yeah.
Okay, so fast.
If we're gonna put our name on this project, we're gonna have to switch it, but okay.
So
we might have to because I know there's some other good movies too.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fast 10.
No.
Wait. So hold on. So Megan, you had Spider-Man at 9. I had it at 1. Marley didn't have it, but he had Guardians at 10. So does Spider-Man get to make the top 10?
Oh, okay. I think so. Let me look at my letterbox about where I put Guardians actually. Because again, that was like it was within my top 16.
It's a little I don't have Spider-Man anywhere in my top 20.
Okay.
Anywhere.
Guardians was my number 14, but for a longest time it was at my number 8. So But Guardians is so good, but Spider-Man topped Guardians, even though I really like both of those movies.
Yeah. And I wasn't a big Guardians fan, but this third one really, really was good. For me, I'll go to the mat for this just because it was the 6th highest grossing movie of the year, and for animation, that's really, not. I mean, the only thing that beat it was Fast X, Guardians, Oppenheimer, Mario movie, which is like, I mean, that's just an IP, and Barbie, right? So, but what I will say is this: I think when you look back in 10 years at this list and you don't have Spider-Verse, you will go, I made a mistake, because it was a big cultural moment, and you got to think about the art that went into it. So that's my argument. That's my only argument.
I agree.
And I'm fine with you pushing it to 9 if you have to, Marley, because you weren't happy and you didn't have it in the top 20. I will accept that. But let me tell you, future Marley is going to look back and go, what have we done here?
Well, like, why did I put Guardians on there?
To be honest, I honestly felt like, what have I done here when I made my top 20? I'm like, where's Spider-Man? There were so many good movies this year. I honestly could have had like a top 60.
Yeah,
it was.
But the argument that I have
to bump up Missing more, honestly, because like I did a full ranking. So Missing is actually at my number 33, but I actually really like Missing.
You're the reason I watch Missing, though, because you made a TikTok about it.
Okay, so Missing to 7.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do Missing to 7. Okay. And then we'll do, but I feel like that's like a little bit too high, because again, Spider-Verse was like a cultural reset.
So here's the argument that I have for not including Spider-Verse. You just said the art. We already have Boy in the Heron in there.
It's different though, because they're using multiple mediums, and I gotta say, just for like the culture, when you think about like our people. They're like, this is a movie where it was like, because you got to think like Black Panther. Again, I'll say the quiet part out loud. There are some white people, and you were like, oh, I don't know if that's for me. This Miles Morales movie changed that for like white people are like, yo, I want to be Miles Morales. Like a lot of times we want to be these white characters. This made white people be like, no, I want to be Miles. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so it's like, I just feel like,
cool.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like I see Miles Morales like suit more than Peter Parker's like suit. Like the black suit.
It was hard.
It was hard.
And I really does. Find the white cosplayers cosplay as Miles as long as they don't do blackface.
Wait, do you know?
Okay.
I'm dead. And that line, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like it was just it's too good. It's too good.
Okay, number 3. That's fair. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it. Yeah, right.
You convinced me.
Marley,
we'll put it
me.
at 3.
Trust me. How many Kobe cosplays that came out of this?
Yeah, right. The cosplays were crazy. Honestly, Megan, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. This has to be 3 because the cosplays were just wow. No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Across the Spider-Verse number 3. So we'll have 2 animations at 2 and 3. Like basically right by each other's side.
Marley, can I ask you a question?
What's the question?
Do you think Poor Things should be on this list? Because I haven't seen it, and Megan
I haven't seen it either.
But I'm a really big Yorgos fan, so I was like, I don't know. What do you think?
I think Poor Things should be on this list.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna go out on a limb here since you brought it up.
Yeah.
I think we should take out Barbie and put in Poor Things.
Woo!
No! Okay, with the spiel that we had for like 10 minutes talking about the cultural reset of Barbie, how Barbie brought back cinema almost like single-handedly.
Barbie was the number 1 movie last year, too. So it's tough, but I get it. Let me hear the arguments.
It's a better feminist movie. It's a better feminist.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Cultural relevance.
This is just a placeholder. This is a placeholder. I'm not trying to burn any bridges here. We'll put it for number 9.
You're such a hipster, Marley.
Right. Marley's like, hold on, we can't have Barbie. That made too much money for the corporations.
I respect art.
Right, I'm dead.
Okay, so
It's
here's
not like
another.
perfect garbage like Barbie is. I'm a poor things girly. No,
Yeah, right. But honestly, this movie has been on my me and my fiance. Since we've been married or engaged, we've probably got into 2 arguments, and the second was about Poor Things because she would refuse to go to see this movie because she was scared. And I was like, Marley said this is a good movie. We need to see this movie. And so like I get it, you know. So
why is she scared?
she's, she's scared of everything. Oh my lord, like. This girl, like she like the boy in the heron when it starts to catch fire, she was like, "This is supposed to be. I thought this was supposed to be sweet." I'm like, "It's just fire." Oh my god, yeah, she cracked me up though. She really does.
Okay, I'm moving on to our next Joyride.
As number one,
not number one, because we can
No.
always adjust these.
you
So
do
no,
realize that Fast X came out, right?
that's not a movie. That's a fever dream.
Not a- just like Bo is
Oh.
afraid is a fever dream.
Oh
Right.
Lord,
It's
Lord,
literally a
Lord.
fever dream.
It really.
Megan, how do you feel about Bottoms?
I love Bottoms, but I wouldn't put it as number one. But I
Okay.
love it.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna 1001.
1001 is a good ass movie. It's
I
so
haven't.
good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know that's a great movie. I know it's a
Okay.
great movie. So that probably should be on here as our little indie darling that people aren't talking enough about, maybe.
Yes.
But yeah, no, and Tiana Taylor, she's that girl. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I
crushed
mean?
it. She
Yeah,
crushed it. I'm gonna
yeah.
placeholder at number 1.
And who's that little boy? He reminded me of the boy from Moonlight.
That's what I was thinking too. I don't know his name, but he did such a great job.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just look it up real quick.
2001. His name is Aaron Kingsley. He played Terry.
Yeah, Terry,
Mhm.
age
Yeah,
6.
Aaron Kingsley. Oh my god, that kid, like,
Mhm.
absolutely adorable. He's how old is he? He's so he started acting when he was 2. He's in a couple commercials and things. I mean, this kid can't be older than like 9. Like, no, yeah, that's awesome.
The movie is so good. I like it almost made my top 10, but yeah, I made it to number 12 on my list. But it's so good. It's really good.
Let me look at your list.
Okay.
So you have the holdovers, Susan Mays. Well, you guys, what about Saltburn? Because you guys both were talking. Oh, we got that on there, right?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
I'm willing. I feel like we should take Saltburn off because you said
that's fair. That's fair. It's like honestly, Saltburn is my guilty pleasure movie, so
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Because
That's
you
why
said
I ranked
that
it
you
so
can't
high.
recommend it. Because you said you can't recommend it, and I don't want
Right.
to put.
I can't
movie-
recommend it because it's weird and gross, and not many people are gonna get it. So,
Yeah.
Right. I totally agree with you on that
and I
one.
like
get it.
low-key like it because like it's such a weird movie, but it's like so entertaining. It's so funny.
This is my opportunity to get in Dream Scenario.
Yeah, you know what?
So
Since y'all are talking so much about that Dream Scenario and how much you love it, I'm fine with that being number 1, honestly, even though I haven't seen it. But I know
Okay.
it's the type of movie that I like, though. Already.
I can't put it at number 1. And honestly, I think that there's an argument that it just misses the list. But for the sake of debate, let's put it at 8 for now.
Okay. Let's put it at 8. This is fun. I like
Now
this.
Now, the one movie that we don't have on here that I think deserves a little consideration potentially here is Oppenheimer. We don't have Oppenheimer on here, and that was the big movie of 2023. And if I made the argument for Spider-Verse, even though Oppenheimer almost missed for me, I said when you look back at this list, if you don't have Oppenheimer in 2023, it's kind of like how is that not on your list? It's
It's
our
on everyone
list.
else's
I
list.
kind of
Yeah, it's
disagree
our
a
list.
little bit because, and this is what like one of my mutuals and one of my mutuals, Dorothy, was like saying, or someone commented this on one of her posts. But it was like you could not have well, it's like you can't not have Barbie on your top list, but you could omit Oppenheimer. basically.
I
But
feel that
understand,
way.
like,
I feel
if
that
you
way
look
personally.
back like 10 years from now,
Right.
and we're looking back at like great movies of 2023, it's like, wait, where's Oppenheimer? Another
Correct.
one too. It wasn't on any of our lists, but this one just missed my list. Killers of the Flower Moon. But even though we didn't talk about it, but I don't know how y'all feel about it. But again, it didn't make any of our lists.
So I didn't see it just because I kind of did that old man thing where I was like, "Ooh, 3 hours," and and tell you what, if Oppenheimer didn't come out first, I would have definitely saw this movie. But I was kind of 3 hour movie out at that point. I was like a little exhausted. But
Yeah.
I've heard that's one of those that it's like every scene is boom, 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 really good. So I mean, do you think
that was my number 11.
Do you think it deserves to be on the list over Oppenheimer?
Oh, okay. Actually, with that being said, too, you know what? I think Oppenheimer should be on the list though, because even though I said the 3 hour movies and stuff, and I probably won't rewatch Oppenheimer, I do see myself rewatching Oppenheimer more than Killers of the Flower Moon.
Really?
Because Killers of the Flower Moon, even though it's good and it's very like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
it is so emotionally exhausting because it is a sad movie. And there's some stuff that just makes your stomach turn. And I'm like, do I want to rewatch that? Probably not. You know?
Shout out to Nick. We're
Nick.
live right now. But
Nick.
Nick Taylor, Killers of the Flower Moon was one of the best movies that he saw that they saw last year. That I never want to watch again.
Yes, that's totally what I feel about Killers of the Flower Moon. That's why I said number 11, but I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah.
I would only watch it for the Lily Gladstone scenes. Like I'll skip through all the Leonardo DiCaprio stuff and all that other things.
Exactly. And
Lily Gladstone is amazing.
I've gone on record saying that I think Killers of the Flower Moon is fine. I think Lily Gladstone she's the one that basically carries that movie through its 3 hour runtime. I think Martin Scorsese. I've always believed that Martin Scorsese peaked with Goodfellas, and he hasn't made a good movie since. I feel like Killers of the Flower Moon proves that, and I honestly feel comfortable not having it on this list. To be honest,
that's fine for me too. I just wanted to discuss it.
Marley. I know that may sound like a hot take, some of the film bros out there, but I gotta say, I saw The Departed. I was like, okay. Shutter Island, I really did like. Wolf of Wall Street is just funny, but like I kind of look at it like it's funny, but I don't think it's this movie that everyone thinks it is.
It's the best biopic of all time as a biopic girly.
Sure, and I think it's, and I'll watch it anytime it's on. I think the performance is great. A lot of the other movies, it doesn't do much for me. And I know that may be a hot take, but I don't know. It's just that's how I feel about Marty. I just think Marty may be on the back nine of his career here. I don't know. So I don't think it should be on here personally.
Yeah, I don't think it should be on here either. And here's the thing about Oppenheimer. I loved Oppenheimer. I think it was a pretty it was well made. Christopher Nolan it's definitely his best directed film, just because he put his all into it.
Sure.
But the thing is, it's the same issue that I have with Martin Scorsese. It feels like Nolan and Martin Scorsese are just kind of like they're doing films just to be arty at this point, just for the sake of like just I'm making like all these references,
passion projects, and
I don't know. I don't really see myself.
We come to this place for magic, right? We come to the movie theaters for right. And honestly, think about what our list is right now. Even though it's our list, every single movie on this list, when you leave out of it, you go, I was touched. I was moved. Mm-hmm. I will remember that. I felt something. Oppenheimer, I left it. I was like, okay, that was good. But I just saw a movie an hour ago that made me go, holy shit, I'm crying. And it was about Barbie. You know what I mean? And
right. That's how I felt too. Like, okay, when I watched Oppenheimer, so I did Barbie, Oppenheimer, Barbie. Because after I watched Oppenheimer, I just felt like depressed and I felt numb. Actually, I felt numb. I felt very numb to the movie. Yeah. And I was on like this group chat. And I was just like, okay, I just got back from Oppenheimer and I don't know how I feel about it. I just feel numb. And they're like, that's nihilistic dread. You're feeling like, you know, it's true. But then I immediately watched Barbie right after that. I like went back in line and bought a ticket to Barbie.
Yeah, I mean, because
And the thing is, the thing is like what like Oppenheimer is very dreadful, and the thing that I kind of compared it to Godzilla Minus One, like earlier in the show. Godzilla Minus One is basically like the same Oppenheimer story, but it's more like uplifting and epic.
Emotionally
Like
driven.
it's like it's I think it's very an interesting like way like Americans kind of like treat stories of tragedy, like stories that we feel bad about. Like it's always very dreadful, but then you have
it's
the Japanese people that
kind of though, isn't it? A little bit,
very,
right? Like,
yeah,
and that's really where I think, like, and I know that wasn't sort of Nolan's take, but like, I just feel for me, I'm like, this is something that white directors do all the time, where it's like you take this thing that's so serious and so well, it's not about that, over like 100,000 Japanese died. I'm like, you can't just skip that. That happened.
Yeah, like that's a big deal.
Right. And it's like, it may not have affected Oppenheimer, but it's like, or maybe it did. I don't know. But I'm like, you mean to tell me that all these people died and we just have no impact on that? I just think that,
they reference it a little bit, like his like guilt, but you don't know, but it kind of felt like shoehorned in just to like get that out of the way. But it was, how they depicted his guilt was very fascinating, and I actually liked it. That was actually one of the better parts, even though that scene was disturbing. That was one of the better parts of the movie. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to say, but at the same time, it kind of felt like, oh, but he felt bad about it, which is kind of how I felt about watching Elvis in 2022, where it's like tiptoed apart the controversial things, like cultural appropriation allegations.
Right.
But he had black friends, so it was all good.
Right. And I think Oppenheimer, like the way I described my review, I was like, I felt like there was 3 movies in there. There's a movie about a man who is unfaithful. There's a movie about a rivalry between 2 peers, and then there's a movie about the tragedy of a bomb, right? And it just felt like the story didn't weave the way I wanted it to, where I had this emotional impact leaving the theater. Like, yeah, he made this, and like I totally get why he made it, and it was difficult. I wanted more of that. I wanted to feel for Oppenheimer a little bit more, but I kind of was like, this was a greedy scientist who was like, someone's gonna do it anyway, so it might as well be me. And that's simplifying it, of course, but you know what I mean. Like, it didn't. And I think, like Marley said, like where Godzilla Minus One, you probably left that feeling a little bit more like, oh, ouch,
But it's also like you felt it left it more of an impact, like for like the Japanese people. But like I just love the way the way Japan just kind of like embraces Godzilla, even though it represents like a dark time, like in their history. There's literal hotels with Godzilla like propped up like on the hotel, and the fact that they just like they embrace like the tragedy, like they know where that came from, but they also try to make light of it. And it's like one of those it's one of those things that I have to respect about their culture. It's really great. So
when I look at our list, I could say I would be proud or happy in 15 years is like hand this list to one of my kids and go, yeah, you heard a lot about Oppenheimer, you heard a lot about Martin Scorsese. These are the movies that you should have taken a look at, that or these are the ones I want to recommend to people that they maybe haven't seen yet, or like they need to see, right? I noticed that a trend is like, I'm like, oh damn, you guys are right. I gotta see 1001. I need to see Godzilla. And Meagan, you're like, you know what? You guys keep talking about dream scenario. I want to see that. And I think that's kind of the point of a good list, is that it should make people want to see things where it's like, Oppenheimer, I just don't feel comfortable recommending that to people to be like, oh, you have to go see Oppenheimer. I would say, I would tell people go listen to the soundtrack before I told them to listen to the movie.
The soundtrack is really good and actually made a lot of the boring scenes really good. And like,
right.
Chills. I'm like, yo, why am I getting hyped over this movie?
Right.
Like, it's so weird. You know what this movie kind of felt like in the first half of it? It really felt like a Marvel movie.
I'm
because
dead.
maybe because the composer actually did a lot of Marvel films. He did Black Panther
Oh,
and all that.
Ludwig, yeah.
Yeah,
Ludwig
Ludwig.
Göransson.
Yeah,
He actually just won the Golden Globe
he
for.
did. Yeah, it was
good for
well
him.
deserved. But also how the movie is with all these like weird actor cameos and historical figure cameos.
Yeah, right.
So funny. Like again, the movie is not comical, but just for the fact about
Yeah,
the soundtrack and also all these cameos from actors that we know.
right.
Especially if
Josh
you're a
Peck.
millennial, such a young millennial from like your childhood.
Yeah,
Like, bruh, like what is this movie? But it's like
I
really
would kill. I would love to see whoever that dude who was playing Einstein. Give me a 2-hour Einstein movie,
an
okay?
Einstein movie. I'm down for it.
He
Like
ate it up.
You know how the movie like ended? It seemed like they were setting up for like an Einstein movie, and
like one of those Marvel movies. Yeah.
like a historical.
Einstein will return.
Marvel has broken us.
Marvel really has.
Yeah.
Marvel
It's just so fun. Like it's like again, the movie is not funny, but it's just like how it's constructed. It's hilarious, and that's
it doesn't help that Robert Downey Jr. is there too, because then you're just like, is that fucking Iron Man? But the like Iron Man, like this is an Avengers called Einstein. We need you. You know, it's just like
right.
And also like, I gotta say, maybe I just missed it and I need to go back. It felt like the third act, like Robert Downey's character got petty out of nowhere. I felt like there was sprinklings, but I felt like there should have been a little bit more obvious, like, oh, that's what this is about. He got petty it was like real quick. So yeah.
But nothing's pettier than Rami Malek's character at the end. I loved it. So much.
That was
I loved like, it. Yo, I got some tea for y'all.
Right. Oh my god!
It's just like the weird little quirks, and like it's the quirks that make this movie entertaining, but not in the way that film bros like it.
Totally right. That they'd be pissed about, like us talking about it that way. Yeah. So that's why. Yeah, Oppenheimer can't be on this list. I think.
Yeah, I feel like we could agree that Oppenheimer can't make this list. So sorry, film bros. But how do we feel? How do we feel about this list so far? So we got They Cloned Tyrone at 10. We got Poor Things at 9. Dream Scenario at 8, Missing at 7, The Holdovers at 6, Godzilla -1 at 5, Barbie at 4, Across the Spider-Verse at 3, Boy and the Heron at 2, and then 1001 at number 1.
You know what? Actually, I would split. 1001, even though it's a really good movie, I think, and it's a sleeper hit, it is a slow burn.
Yeah.
So you have to be like really into dramas and really into like character slice of life type of movies. So I probably wouldn't put it at number 1 per se. I would probably either put Across the Spider-Verse or Boy and the Heron at number 1.
So flip-flop Boy and the Heron, right?
Yeah.
This is where
actually no, I'll flip-flop. I would flip-flop Spider-Verse.
See, I will flip-flop Boy and the Heron.
I would also do Spider-Verse, of course, but like that's all because it was my number 1. I also think, and Marley, you correct me because I know your Dream Scenario was yours. I would think that Missing should go to maybe 9, Poor Things up to 8, and then Dream Scenario up to 7.
See,
but I don't know.
I like the way you think, Tyrone.
That's fair to me.
I think Dream Scenario should stay where it's at.
Okay.
But Missing and Poor Things should flip-flop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that. Okay. So.
But yeah, I mean,
feel like Missing should go to number 10 though, because I don't like it doesn't sit right with me that right now They Clone Tyrone being at number 10. It just doesn't sit right because again.
Yeah.
So Missing at 10.
Missing at 10. They Clone Tyrone at 9.
Okay. And I think They Clone Tyrone. I think that's just one of those movies that like audiences. I don't know. Maybe it was just the market because I think did it come out near the strike or something?
It came out on Barbenheimer. Came out with Barbenheimer.
Yeah, it did.
So that's how it kind of got swept underneath the rug. So
yeah. Because I mean, because anyone I know who's seen this movie has been like they really were like surprised, and that Jamie Foxx performance and Boyega, like I know I've said this a couple of times, but like Boyega and Tiana, they need to work with actors that have their best interest. Let's just say that. Or directors that have their best interest. Let's just say that. Because the Star Wars Marvel crew, I I don't know. I mean, we can get into a whole thing about that, but like, I just think that even just the hair and makeup sometimes, I'm like, I don't think that they got the right crew in there. Just put it that way.
Well,
I agree.
that was
Like,
actually
honestly,
part of the saga after agreement, that there would be like more black hairstylists like on set for like
Good. Yeah.
black actors and actresses. But I totally
that's
agree with you.
good.
I saw
Because they be putting like Tiana in like really bad ways.
Yeah, I'm just and,
It's
like,
just like, girl, what?
and then you just look at the contrast here with they clone Tyrone, and I'm like, oh, now they get to act because they're comfortable. They feel comfortable in the character that they're playing. They're not playing this like, yeah, I'm not gonna get it. You guys get it. You get it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I actually saw They Clone Tyrone pretty late in the year, and it was based on your recommendation, Tyrone. Tyrone recommending They Clone Tyrone.
Inception. Yeah, go ahead.
But
Megan doesn't recommend Megan. No, no, I'm kidding. But Megan was a fun movie.
let's put Megan on this list.
Right, exactly.
M3gan. Megan 2
Right,
coming out.
M.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought They Clone Tyrone was like just a really fun kind of like black exploitation like film, and we don't get a lot of those films like now. And I thought like kind of like the twist was actually really interesting like towards the end, and it kind of reminded me a lot of like BioShock in a way. But not to reveal it, but I thought it was really great. I love John Boyega, but
Keith Sutherland was pretty funny too in their his role.
It's a brilliant film. Like people gotta stop sleeping on that movie. It is so good, and I think it's going to like. I hope Netflix has it on for like ever, which I think it is a Netflix production, so they probably will.
Yeah.
But like, it's gonna be one of those. I think it will drive traction the more people talk about it.
I agree.
And then it'll be probably one of those movies that like, you know, this year, maybe later on this year, people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you gotta watch it," and then it like pops up number one again. You know?
Yep. And it had that Boots Riley feel to it too. Like
it did too. Yeah.
Like,
thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. And honestly, like Boots Riley actually had a project this year. I am a Virgo, but honestly, like, and that was a good show. It was a really good series. But I'm like, yo, like, They Clone Tyrone like out Boots Riley or outdid.
It really did. Yeah, absolutely. So Marley really wants to put The Boy and the Heron at the top.
I was hoping no one would notice.
and
what?
listen,
that's fair. I don't care. Whatever.
I was gonna say, I'll let you have it, but you got to put across number 2, just because. Again, like I said, trust me. When you look back at this in 10 years, I think people are gonna go, yeah, that was a moment. Because, dude, like think about the first one. The first one was really good. This superseded it. This third movie could really not stick the landing. But again, how often does a sequel supersede the original? It doesn't happen too often. So I don't know.
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2 and also Empire Strikes Back.
And How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Thanks, guys. So you're just dated both. You guys both just told the whole audience you're basically like boomers. You know what I mean? Like you're like, okay, this movie that came out 30 years ago and this movie that came out 60 years ago.
Excuse me, but Shrek 2 came out like I think 20 years ago or something like that.
Shrek 2
make me feel old.
I know that
came out in 2004, legit 20 years ago. Insane.
No.
Yeah, right.
No! Oh my gosh, that's so crazy because like that was like my movie, and that like was my movie.
Shrek 2 8. That was
Shrek 2 didn't even need to be that good, but it was.
Didn't. It was. Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is better than 1 in my opinion, but that's another discussion.
I agree too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think Boy and the Heron should be number 1.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
I'll give it to you if you put.
I like. We should switch it to Spider-Verse to number 2 because again, 1001, great movie, but again, it's not going to be for everyone because some people are going to think it's boring, which is bad.
What's with rankings? What's with rankings? Rankings don't really make any sense.
They really don't.
They don't.
They don't mean anything. So Across the Spider-Verse at 3, that shouldn't really.
I mean, here's the thing. I totally agree with you. Like, because if you think about it, like 1001, it just makes sense that you put it at 3. So like, I get it. You know what I mean?
I like how you just the way you said that. You're just like, it just makes sense for you to.
I'm in sales. Can you tell?
I'm with Tyrone on this. Like, it does not need to be number 2. But like they're like neck and neck. But I'm saying like Spider-Verse, like it changed the game. Like even though it didn't make as much as Barbie or any of and even Barbenheimer, but again, people are gonna think about it and they're gonna be like, oh, let me rewatch Spider-Verse like 10 times, which I know people that basically have done that.
And in this time where you hear people complain all the time about movies being woke and including so many different, oh wow, they have a woman character, they have a Mexican character. You didn't hear that once about this movie.
You barely did. Like, there are some people that are like, oh, this is too woke, and a lot of people are like, well, you do know Spider-Man has a lot of variants, which is why the Spider-Verse is a thing.
Right.
They got shut down so quickly.
Yeah, exactly, because it had it wasn't rooted in any reality. And you got to think too, the cameos that they had with like the Tom Holland and Uncle Ben, they didn't sit on that like Marvel would have. They sprinkled it in, Marley. This gave us hope that you can write a superhero movie that is well done. And listen, that scene where Gwen's father is like has the gun out and he goes, "Put your hands up," and she's like, "Which is it? Hands up or not?" I'm like, and the fact that they did that with a white girl, I was like, that's genius. Like, it really was. Yeah, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this happens. Yeah, you know, and that's not a spoiler. That's like literally happens the first like 2 minutes.
Right.
I think you got me.
Sorry.
I think you got me.
Yes, thank you.
Because
okay, now I can sleep well at night.
Everything you said, I agree with. But I just started thinking about the animators as well that work so hard on this film.
Yes,
but just like the way that they had to animate just what's his name? The one that had like multiple.
Oh, damn it, what's his name? Daniel Kaluuya's character.
Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, Hobie. Yeah, they animated him differently because he's a rebel. He's a punk.
Yeah.
And they were not playing with this movie.
Bro, they really weren't. And I heard that like it's something like it's kind of like in music when you like do something on the upbeat. It's like his frames are all off by like 1 or something because he's like anti-establishment. Yeah, they ate like yeah. And you know one of the best performances that people don't even talk about is Brian Tyree Henry. Like people don't even.
I forgot it was even him.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the case that I forgot that he even did voice acting for the dad.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's so talented. He's the one in Hollywood who needs to get his flowers a lot more.
He does. He's been in the game for a long time too, and like he's he's such an underrated actor, but he's one of my favorites. I shit you not.
Also, your girl from Past Lives, which I'm surprised no one talked about that movie.
I haven't seen Past Lives. That's why, but it's been on my list forever.
Oh, see, I never saw. Megan, I thought that I saw a review because I thought.
No, you did not see a review from me because I have not watched it. So that's somebody else. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I swear, because like I got a TikTok saved, and maybe it was another one of your because you reviewed something, and I was like, oh, I saved it on TikTok so I can go back later. But she's also in Spider-Verse, and people don't know that. So Greta Lee, but no, yeah, that's just a fantastic cast. I'm glad that you came to your senses, Marley. I really am.
Yeah, well, I love Past Lives. I'm really glad you brought it up, just because I feel like it does need to be mentioned. Mm-hmm. I couldn't put it on my top 20, and I don't feel comfortable putting it on. Well, I do feel comfortable putting it on like this top 10, but I had a really weird experience watching Past Lives because my screening of it, the movie stopped like 3 or 4 times.
Oh,
like there's the projector issues. So I haven't seen the movie since, just because I've had such a bad experience with it. So I didn't feel comfortable putting it on my list just because of my experience was so bad. And
I had a bad experience with Saltburn the first time I saw it, and then I rewatched it. I was like, "Yo, this movie's dope. I don't care."
I saw that movie with Timothée Chalamet and Beautiful Boy. Same thing happened to me. And I was just like, I'm all set. I don't need to see this movie now. Forget it.
I thought you're gonna say like, I saw that movie with Timothée Chalamet. I think we need to put Wonka on this list.
Yeah, I was just like, Okay, someone recommended Wonka to me, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to see him sing. I'm sorry.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
I was gonna say, Marley, you saw it and you liked it, but like, Hugh Grant, I don't like. Keegan Michael. I know, hot take. I'm not even gonna say it out loud because I don't want you guys to hate me. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of actors in that movie that I not my cup of tea.
Watching it, and I know it's Willy Wonka, but it just seems like too no pun intended, but too sugary sweet. And I know that's the point. But like, here's the thing that I liked about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It was cynical, and it was funny, and it was sarcastic, and it had that British dry humor. And that's why it cannot be topped. I'm sorry, y'all.
Call me. Right. My kids are gonna call me a millennial or my whole life or whatever. Because like
I'll call you a boomer.
Call me whatever, Zoomer, Zillennial, whatever they got. Because that OG, nothing like it. That ain't nothing like
better and better as the years go on. Like, there's not like a joke in there like, oh, that's cringe. Like, or like that didn't age well. Like, everything aged so well.
It's like wine. It really ages like wine, and like you even watch it sometimes. You're like, oh, I want to know a little bit more about that room, but they do just enough where they don't overdo it. Where nowadays you would be able to go into a VR room, see the whole thing. I mean, it's just over the top. Everything's so over the top nowadays, you know. And also like the Harry Potter crew and Paddington crew did like the set and design for this, and I'm like, I get the vision, but it just didn't sit right with my soul. It just, I don't know. Like you said, Megan, that dry humor, that British humor, I can just tell it's not in there. I can just tell it's not. It's too Americanized.
It's very dark for someone that's seen Wonka. It's like darker than I thought it was going to be, and it was kind of upsetting in a way.
Should I actually pay money to see this movie? Because I'm like, it's gonna probably be on. It's going to be on like HBO Max soon. So I'm like, do I want to pay $5? Because I'm either. Well, I already used my free movie ticket for the month, which is disappointing. But so I'm like, I'm not paying more than $5 on my movie night.
Yeah. I would just wait for streaming. Wait for it to come on Max.
Because I'm like, I can't. It can't be a part of my 2023 catch-up series. I can't do it, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the person that recommended it to me. If you're watching this later on, I'm sorry. I can't.
I know. And again, like I told you, me and my fiance, we argued twice. I said, you know what? If you won't go see Poor Things with me, I'm taking you to Wonka. And then she said, you know what? I'm getting out the car. And I'm like, so like, like that's the energy that Wonka has right now on America. Like Wonka does not have like, and do you guys think, I don't know, do you think it's Timothy Chalamet that annoys people?
He annoys me.
I don't mind him. Like I actually used to really like Timothy Chalamet like a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's in too many things now. And like for a musical, like, okay, here's one of my things. This is a pet peeve of mine.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too many actors that can also sing. So when you try to do a musical, like there's not really great singers nowadays, but with the exception of Color Purple. Now they actually got actors that can actually sing, like which I'm happy about. And then with the new Mean Girls movie, they actually have the person that was on the original Broadway cast playing Regina.
Renee,
but like Renee Rapp, yeah, exactly. But with these other movies, they just want to make things. Well, technically, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was a musical, but even like Gene Wilder, he could carry it too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But even that, it wasn't like grounded and like, yo, you have to sing real well. It was just like,
it was a musical.
Something to it that was just so good, and he was like funny too, really funny.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally get that. I think the thing for me with Timothy Chalamet is like he sort of like he has this. So I mean, obviously his family's French, and he has this sort of like arrogance. I think there's this like poshness to him, and it's like you're from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like it's like stop. And I think that sort of bothers me. And like even if you hear him the way he talks about like the Marvel movies and stuff, it's like I've Leonardo say you can't do these movies and it's just like. But you did Wonka, and it's like
you did
it's
Wonka
like
and Dune. I'm sorry, like y'all, you did not.
Yeah, and it's like it's
Dude's
just
not
like
very good either. So
okay, stop it. I love.
I think I'm telling you, like, okay, I have to admit, like he's good in Beautiful Boy, and he's good in Call Me by Your Name. But
Little Women is pretty solid.
He's booked and busy, but he hasn't captured that magic like he did in those two roles, where you're
And
like,
that's the issue.
And that's the issue too. And I don't know what it is, because I feel like
Money.
he should stick with it. Yeah, he should stick with like the indie scene more.
Yes.
He should actually do more comedies. But I didn't like what he did with what's that movie called? Don't Look Up. But I hated that movie in general.
Don't Look Up was terrible.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, that movie was just a mess. I couldn't believe. But you know who actually ate in that movie? Meryl Streep. She was funny.
She did. But
she always eats.
She always eats. She could be in the most horrible movie ever, and she could be amazing.
But I just know she was on that. I just know she was on that set like I got a few notes for you. Like I think that's what it is, Megan, is that it's like he hasn't quite hit that magic of the Call Me By Your Name that we're looking for, the beautiful boy. And like, I think sometimes when you get money,
maybe it's because he had to audition for those, and he hasn't. This is T. He didn't have to audition for Wonka. They were like, okay, him, like for real.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he hasn't had to audition. He has a good agent. So he's just given these roles,
or he just has a privilege. He just has that.
Sure.
Because he's like the it boy. But I think Jacob Elordi, even though is it Marley, you don't like Jacob Elordi?
No, right? I think that would have been a good pick for Wonka.
He's the new it boy. I'm just saying.
Jacob
Elordi, yes, that's a great pick. But what about Jeremy Allen White?
Oh, he's okay. Jeremy Allen White he's been the Ed boy. Jeremy Allen White is the Ed boy of 2023.
Yeah.
And Jacob Elordi is going to be the Ed boy of 2024.
So, I mean, but he's been cooking since the Shameless day. People just
but people are now seeing him because he has muscles. He's cooking right now, literally.
Right. but let me just like to go back to the Chalamet. Look at his sister Pauline. Look, if you look at some of the work that she does, it's a lot more indie, a lot more grounded. And I'm telling you, she is a much better actress than he is. And like it's because you could tell that she's a student of the game. And I could tell that Timothy at some point probably was as well. But once you start to make money, you don't have to audition. There's a sort of different hustle. I will never speak ill of Madam Viola Davis, but once you start having to audition and work, you can see it in the craft a little bit. And I'm not gonna say exactly the movie I'm referring to, but like
I think I know.
Yeah, there are movies where you can just tell where it's just like you're losing it a little bit because you don't have to.
She's still a good actress, but you can tell there's not really as much grit.
Correct.
You know? Yeah. And like I've looked at Viola Davis because I'm not gonna be all blah blah blah, but like I was she was in the movie Doubt, and I was in the play version of Doubt.
Okay.
So I actually studied a lot of what she did to get prepared for that role, and you could tell she added a lot of stuff. Of course, I brought my own spin to it because I don't want to copy somebody. Right. You could tell she was into it. She does that. She cries when snot comes out. You have to be a great actress. They call snot nose cry and be comfortable with that.
She would be upset if she heard me say this, but they call her the Black Meryl Streep because that's what she is. And I think she deserves to have these movies that are just I'm not gonna call them money grabs, but it's like she's getting a check, right? And I think she deserves to have that moment because she's been working so long. Her book, I read it last year. If you read that, it is that's one of the best autobiographies I've read. Good. It is so powerful, so relatable. But there's definitely you can tell in Hollywood we're a lot of the aging, and now that we're older, believe it or not, I'm not gonna say my age on the internet because they don't need to know. But now that we're getting older, you're gonna start to see some people that we really used to look up to and admire, like a Leonardo DiCaprio of the world, Johnny Depp. Okay, bad example, but you get what I mean. It's like that they aren't gonna hit the same way anymore. They're just not.
Yeah, that's true. I'm starting to kind of sense that too, and I guess with us, reviewing movies and everything too, and really looking at cinema. And, for me, I kind of take a pop culture approach a little bit too. You're starting to kind of see people's careers progress, and people now you grew up on, they're 20 years in, you're seeing the project they're taking on, they're like, hey, you know what? I just need money because I'm still working off the residuals of something I did 20 years ago plus.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's an interesting time because now I'm starting to see what like other older people or people that
Yeah.
were like my age or whatever, they're starting to see some people, but they're like, oh yeah, I could see people coming up. Like, I think that's how I feel like about Jacob Elordi. Like, I know, like,
Sure.
if I was a teenage girl, like right now, I'll be like, oh my god, Jacob Elordi. You know, I know.
Right.
But now, like, now, as an adult, I'm just kind of like, okay, I could see him, being
The maturation.
I could see him, and there's like other people that are new too, like Anya Taylor-Joy. She hasn't been in like things for a long time, but
Right.
like her breakout role, she's had a lot of great breakout roles. Like,
what's so funny too, Megan, that like the people you're naming, like they're all actually around the same age. Like Paul Mescal, Florence Pugh, Timothy.
Yeah.
A lot of these actors are all like around the same age. I think Ayo Adebari, she's around the same age as them as well.
Yeah,
Like,
she's like around my age, I think, or
Yeah.
like she's like either my age or a year too younger. We're like around the same age, but
yeah,
she's a young actress. Well, she's not like young, but she's like a newer actress. But I'm like, but she's been writing forever. You
Exactly.
know? So that's the thing. She's starting to get, and that's one thing I admire too. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, it's cool to see. It's cool to see that growth, and I think like the thing for me is like, I'm sorry, like Leonardo DiCaprio sort of playing, oh, I'm the hot guy. It's like come on, like read the room. You know what I mean? It's like that's not who you are anymore. And it's like he's like
50. He's 50 now.
Someone should tell him that. You know what I mean? And like and Tom Cruise.
A 50-year-old dating like a 21-year-old that's into 21-year-old girls.
Exactly
right. It's like, dude, this is kind of gross. Like, let's stop giving him roles. But that's a whole.
He has matured as an actor, though, and I think he's starting to realize that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like with Killers of the Flower Moon, like he's not playing the heartthrob, even though he's a man. Which I think he should play more gritty roles like that, because I feel like with the last 10 years he's been trying to do that. And it's like, you have to really be doing that too much, and then he played like a nerd and like
Don't Look Up or whatever. Like
which
that was
I'm
horrible.
like,
I'm sorry. Like,
awkward.
yeah. And but then but you just contrast that with like a Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise, so it is what it is. But it's like Tommy, buddy. Like, when are you gonna play the retired agent? You know what I mean? Like what? Like when are you gonna pass that on? Like you're. I think he's almost 60. It's just like, I mean, it's very impressive, but it's just like, it's time to get the Michael Cera Allen movie. That's what the people want.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's what the people want.
Michael Cera's perfect. That's a perfect example. And like, actually, I think Michael Cera is going to be in more like have more diverse roles too.
I agree.
I think he's supposed to be in like a he's supposed to be in a movie with Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, it was filmed up here. And
that's right. Yeah, so I can't wait to see that. It's gonna be really fun. So I'm like, ooh, yeah.
And I want
my
to kind of steer us back on track with the top 10. We kind of got a little bit off track there. Are we all good? We all good with top 10?
I mean, that's a great top 10 to me. I'm proud of that top 10.
I'm proud too.
I'm
proud that you convinced me to put Spider-Verse at 2. So
yeah, and I think The Boy and the Heron, I can't be mad because it's like Miyazaki, like he is a icon, and to like if this is like one of his final pieces, I think it, like we said, when you look back at this, it lists in 10 years. To say that we put number 1 for Miyazaki, it's I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
I'm okay with that too. And it's probably gonna win best animated, honestly. Like,
so
real.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
The Real Lovers podcast top 10 movies of 2023. Number 10, Missing. Number 9, They Cloned Tyrone. Number 8, Dream Scenario. Number 7, Poor Things. Number 6, The Holdovers. Number 5, Godzilla -1. Number 4, Barbie. Number 3, 1001. Number 2, Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And number 1, The Boy and the Heron.
Woo!
It's a great
That's a
list.
great list.
I think we got enough where, like, the film bros won't kill us because we went too commercial, but we also have enough where it's like, the normal folk, we'll call them, the everyday, the common man, woman, person is gonna go, okay, I'll check out that. You know what I mean? Like if
Right.
you have Barbie, because if you don't have Barbie in your top 10, no offense, it's kind of like you're being a little bit snobby. Let's be real here.
That's so true. Like the people,
Yep.
like there's people. I'm starting to hear this too. Like I saw like a lot of things that are like, oh, what's your unpopular opinion of 2023? A lot of people are like Barbie was mid. I'm like, you're just being a contrarian. Like nah.
Exactly.
Right.
Come on, stop that. Right.
Stop.
And I feel like Barbie has become so popular at this point. There's those people are going to come out. They're going to say like it's not really a feminist film, and
Yeah,
like I've seen stuff like that, which don't
Anything
rely on
click.
Barbie to be completely like a feminist movement. That's not its job. That's
It's
not
not
what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Like-
feminism 101 because it's a PG-13 movie, and they're not going to go into like intersectional feminism in one movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I know we're going rather long here, Tyrone. I know it's really late on your side, so
No,
but
you've given me plenty of life. I love talking to both of you. I really do.
aw, heart. But just two more questions I have for you. Let's just name our just give the audience 5 movies that were our honorable mentions that didn't make our list. Just
Ooh.
yeah,
Ooh.
it'd be pretty easy for me because I could just do like 11 through 15 or something like that. So
Ooh.
but
Okay, yeah, you maybe you start because you put me on the spot here. Trying to think.
hold on.
Well, okay. Well, can I do this instead? Movies that I didn't see that I want to that would probably be honorable mentions because I trust you.
Yeah, for sure.
So number 1 is Poor Things. I absolutely need to go see that. Godzilla -1. Absolutely need to go see that. Number 3. Oh geez. Let's see. Number 3. I actually haven't seen Priscilla. That's one that I really want to see. Suzume, I think, is one that needs to be seen for sure.
Yes.
And then I wanted to see Past Lives, even though you said it was okay. But Past Lives, Suzume, and yeah, you heard the other ones. I can't even think right now. Oh, my brain. Suzume, Past Lives, Poor Things, Priscilla, and Poor Things. Yeah.
All right, Poor Things. Yeah, Poor Things definitely on my list too of things that I want to see. But my honorable mention too is I really also, well, it's not my official honorable mentions list, but I'm also going to do something that Marley did too. It's like kind of my close ones.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about Iron Claw. Really good film. Really good ensemble cast. We already talked about Jeremy Allen White. He's amazing in this one as well. Zac Efron, amazing job. Don't sleep on him. He's really good.
Yep.
I also liked Infinity Pool. That was one of my favorite horror films of the year, if not my favorite. So that was really good. Mia Goth, Blackberry, if you don't like the corporate biopic or the typical biopic, definitely check that one out. It's about, obviously the Blackberry film. And it's really fun because it feels like a documentary. It's pretty cool. I like it. And Polite Society. That movie recommended to me a lot.
Oh, yes.
So check that out. Don't sleep on it, y'all. Chevalier is a really good movie. It's a historical biopic too. It's about a composer, biracial composer, Joseph Boulogne, and it takes place in the 1700s. So yeah, some things talk about racism and stuff, but it's not like, hey, this is all racism and black trauma stuff. It's not really like that. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Those are the movies I would recommend. I also, if you just need a funny movie to watch with friends, especially if you're Black with Blackening, it's hilarious. So
I got that on Blu-ray. That's one of my Blu-ray movies I've been waiting to watch. So
it's fun. Watch it with a group of people. It's gonna hit better if you watch it with a group of people.
Can I ask you real quick about Chevalier? What is it?
Chevalier.
Chevalier. Thank you. Yeah. So I know like the kid who is in it. He was in a couple other things. I think he was in the movie by Regina King that she had did.
Yes.
And
Is it? Oh crap! What was it?
it
It's
it's like
uh.
Miami. It's like the one in Miami, like a night in
Yes,
Miami or
One
something.
Night in Miami. I think. I
Yeah.
think. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm looking at his filmography right now.
So that
He was also in
movie.
Mudbound too. Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, so that movie, I think it's on Hulu right now. Is that movie based on is it like a dramatization or is it like kind of more like biography kind of thing?
It's a biography. I would say it's definitely a biopic for
And this
sure.
is and this is the dude who was like Mozart's rival or something, right? Or
Yeah, he was.
yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, it was basically like, well, it wasn't like he was the rival, but it was more so like he's one of like the unsung musical composers because, of
Hmm.
course, racism is a thing. So a
Sure.
lot of his stuff
Hmm.
is like buried in history and like lost media.
Right.
However, yeah, he was like comparable to Mozart. Like a lot of people, and he actually like, well, the movie depicts it. They had a rivalry, but they actually really didn't in real life.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, a lot of
It, wa-
people like he was well beloved in France because he
Yeah,
was.
it was like they were coming up at the same time. I mean, I
They
used to
were.
do like classical music. I remember hearing about this guy. And then they also say that Mozart may be a brother as well, but we don't know.
Woo!
Yeah.
But yeah,
Same thing with Bach too. A lot of people think Bach was actually black.
Yeah.
yeah, I need to check out that movie. I think it was only playing for like a week for me, and then it just left. But
Yeah.
that's the same guy that was in Hamilton, right? That played, was
No,
it?
No, I don't
no,
think
no, no. You're thinking
so.
about shoot, I know who you're thinking about Anthony Ramos.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no,
Anthony
No,
Ramos.
no, no, not Anthony
not
Ramos.
Anthony, not Anthony Ramos.
Tay
Yeah,
Diggs?
Tay
Yeah,
Diggs.
David Diggs.
David Diggs. Yeah. No, no,
David
different.
Diggs. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, what Tay Diggs?
I know.
Yeah,
Tay
but
Diggs from Dead.
I guess I'll say because for some reason Letterbox was not loading for me, so
Okay.
it was like my list
Oh yeah,
wasn't
there's like
loading.
an error actually.
Yeah, it's working now, but I'll just say my honorable mentions real quick. I'll um, I'll mention two documentaries that no one really mentioned that I really enjoyed.
I know what you're gonna say. Okay.
David Holmes, The Boy Who Lived, uh, heartbreaking documentary about Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double on
Couldn't watch
all
it.
7 films. Uh, it's heartbreaking, but it's also like heartwarming because Daniel Radcliffe really wanted to highlight David Holmes, like his stunt double, because they're like best friends. I really enjoyed like this documentary because it showed like just like the different side of like filmmaking because we don't really know a lot about stunt doubles,
Yeah.
and I feel like it kind of like shed light on that side of the industry, which I really enjoyed.
Oh,
And
I want
then
to make a correction to the last thing asking about if he was in One Night in Miami. No, you're thinking Leslie Odom Jr.
oh, oh
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
because I
you.
was just like, no, see, yeah, Leslie Odom
Thank you.
Jr.
I'm so glad that you
mhm,
made that correction. Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
but
sorry. Proceed.
no, it's okay. David
Daniel
Holmes, The Boy
Radcliffe.
Who Lived,
Mhm.
and then the next documentary I have is Still, a Michael J. Fox story that you can stream
Oh
it
yeah.
on Apple TV Plus.
That's your guy.
If you love Michael J. Fox, if you're a fan of Back to the Future, this movie will absolutely move you. It's
Hmm.
because you get to see like Michael J. Fox, kind of like younger Michael J. Fox, and then kind
Yeah.
of how it transitions and tells the story about his life, like how he is like to this day. It really was shocking for me, like how he's kind of like lived with this Parkinson's disease, and also just how it's affected his life. It's I love Still, a Michael J. Fox story. Ferrari, a movie that just came out last month, about Enzo Ferrari and how, and just the kind of like that story. This is a Michael Mann film. I've only seen two
Mhm.
Michael Mann films like up until this point, but
Yeah.
this is probably one of his better ones of the ones that I've seen. Godzilla minus one. I know we talked about it.
Hmm.
It was our number 5 for the Real Lovers podcast top 10. We talked enough about it. And then Sanctuary. Sanctuary was a movie that came out that is very horny. It's very,
a
very,
horny movie.
very horny, but
Hmm.
it reminded me so much of a movie that I loved in 2022. It's called I just like movies that talk about like sex in a very like open way,
Sure.
but like it's dirty, but it's kind of like dirty when it has to be.
That's so
Basically,
true. Like it's like a horny movie without like a lot. Like I don't think there's any nudity in it actually, right?
no,
Or is
there's
there?
not.
Yeah, which is very interesting. Which I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sanctuary is like it's a very interesting movie, and I left the theater kind of like in a very interesting way after it. But I love Sanctuary. Iron
Yeah.
Claw we already mentioned. We already
Mhm.
mentioned a little bit. I don't think I loved it as much as everyone else, just because I feel like it. I don't know. I think from what I've read, they basically deleted like an actual brother
Yeah,
from the
that's my
episode,
only problem with it. That is my only problem with it.
which is
They don't.
weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was odd too, but I was
Mhm.
like, you know, as a film, it's fine. But yeah, I felt
Yeah.
that really odd, and they kind
That
of.
is quite bizarre.
I don't want to
Yeah.
like. I don't want to spoil what happens unless
Yeah.
like it's based on a real story. But I thought
Right.
that was kind of odd.
Yeah.
But
And then
Wait.
John Wick 4. John Wick 4 is my last one. Just
Yeah.
because I feel like for action movies in 2023, we got some, but others kind of like fell flat in their face. I won't name
Yeah.
like that action movie. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. But John Wick 4 totally brought it on every single level. May not be the
Absolutely.
best, may not be like the best screenplay, but
Right.
like their spectacle is what John Wick 4 brought to the screen.
That's
And
what you want. Camp.
yeah, I love it so much. But yeah, those
Can
are
I ask
some
you a
honorable
question
mentions.
real quick before we go about
Yeah.
the boy who lived? So you said that was a tearjerker.
Mhm.
Is it more so about like his life afterwards the accident? Is it before? Is it like where does it sort of start in the story?
It's more of before, like when they actually, because they show the accident, like in the documentary. That's what
Mhm.
got me, just because
Mm,
it wasn't like it was a like a the stunt that they had him do. It wasn't like it was anything extreme. It
yeah,
was just something that his body just couldn't take anymore after like doing these
interesting.
movies for so long.
Interesting.
And yeah, plus David Holmes, he's just like a great guy. Like the way,
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, I've always loved that series. I may see Daniel Radcliffe on Broadway this weekend. Fingers crossed. And he just seems like absolute top shelf type of guy. Just
Mhm.
really seems like someone who's like super grounded, which makes absolutely no sense based on how famous he was.
Mhm.
And like I don't know, I just love that about him. And then one more Easter egg, Paul Giamatti. I don't know if you guys saw once he won his Golden Globe,
He
he
went
went
to
to
In-N-Out?
In-N-Out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought
yeah,
that was awesome. That
yeah.
was like pretty much the holdovers to me. Like I was like that was the holdovers movie. So it's like
Well,
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna watch like the holdovers. Maybe probably not
it
when
is
we're done
so
with the
good.
stream, but I think it's streaming on Peacock. But
It's streaming on Peacock, and it's so
Mhm.
good, and I really want to rewatch it. I might actually rewatch it tonight too. Like
and
it's
I
that
did.
good.
I
Yes.
did. I really it's because like we're not a big like Christmas movies fan. Like we
Mhm.
try. It's just there really aren't a lot that we love. Klaus is that guy. I love that
Mhm.
movie on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that. That's really good. But this feels like a good Christmas movie, especially if you're someone who's on Christmas alone, or like you've
Yeah.
ever had to be Christmas on alone. You
Mhm.
feel like you go to do Christmas with your family, but you feel disconnected. Like I mean, I think this is really
It's
a strong
it's a
Christmas
really
movie.
good like found family film, and I think
Yes.
like one kind of good overarching message with a lot of these films that came out this year, it was about okay, Marley's probably gonna troll me because I'm gonna say it's about family.
Yeah.
You know, I love me
Yeah.
some found family. You know, I
But
love me
there's
some
a
found
lot
family.
but there was a lot of great movies this year about like found families and like
Yeah.
not found families but chosen families, and the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
is a great chosen family film.
Yeah, we
I
won't
think
mention
that
that other one, but
Yeah.
I think I look so often at like storytelling because these movies take years to be made, right? And I think a lot of people who are our age, you got to think like when they wrote these scripts, it's got to be a couple years after college, right? And then you kind of get like you take those years to actually try to get into production. And I think a lot of like you saw it with like Turning Red, where it's like, you know, our generation wants our parents to say sorry. You know, our generation wants our parents to realize like we're not gonna do it. Like, hey, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing, right? Like there's like, and I think this found family is really, I think, a strong sort of component of our generation, where it's like, you know, we have our family, but like we have our internet family too. You know, we have our friends away, right? And like those are the people that we really connect with, that because that generation had to be by proximity friends with people that they didn't really like or want to be around. Whereas us, we can find people that we have common ground with, common beliefs. You know, like, you know, I feel very confident that, you know, I could talk to either of you and be like, okay, I know that you both have like your heads on about this thing, right? Because we agree on so many different things outside of movies and stuff too. So I think that found family is a principle in storytelling of people our generation. So that's a really great observation, Megan. I agree.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you mentioned something that actually reminded me a lot of stuff. I feel like a lot of directors and filmmakers too, a lot of the projects that came out this year, you could totally tell that they've been sitting on the script for a long time. Like, I'll give an example, like Ari Aster, I think Beau's Afraid was a short film, and then now it's like a feature-length film.
Yeah.
So you can tell he was sitting on it. And I don't know about Emerald Fennell, but just she added like a lot of her life, well, not really her life, but a lot of her experiences at the start of the film, that is, not like at the end, but at the start of the film. She added a lot of her like experiences because she went to college in 2007 and all that stuff. And I'm just like, okay, she probably was cooking up this film like back then.
Totally.
But she actually has the funds, and now she has, you know, already had something under her belt. But it kind of feels like that, even if it's not, you know?
I've heard a lot of like artists, directors, just across the board say that first sort of like, this is my baby script, it takes so long, but once you get through, then it's like, all right, now I know who I am, right? And so like, and again, like I just think that's just sort of one of those like DNA components of our generation, of like making that breakthrough, taking your own space, taking your time, not rushing. And you see it all the time too with content creators and like us making content. Like, we're not gonna just make content to make content. We're like, no, like I want it to be, you know, something that I actually genuinely feel like strong towards and like happy about, right? We're not gonna just put something out there to put it out there. So I think that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. It's beautiful to just make the films that you want to make, and that people will. And if people have a reaction towards it, then that's great. As long as you're putting it out there, that's what's most important. Before we wrap up, it's 2024. I figured I'll give you 3 films that you're most anticipated for 2024. Okay. What are those 3 films? To put you on the spot.
Man.
I will go first.
Meagan?
Okay.
Yeah, Meagan.
Okay, I believe Maxine is going to come out. That's my number 1. I'm so excited. So that's the 3rd movie in the X-Pearl series. I'm so excited. I believe it is slated to come out this year. It's called Challengers, that Zendaya movie that like looks freaky AF, and I'm excited for it.
Luca Guadagnino.
Yes.
It's a great poster. That poster that just came out. Yeah,
very hot. Yeah, for sure.
And then, okay, and what was the third one? Oh, Deadpool 3. I'm excited for that one. I believe that's going to come out this year too, or at least it was set to. So those are going to be my 3.
I like that list a lot.
And Nosferatu bonus entry. I'm so excited for that one.
Wait, for what movie?
Nosferatu. They're doing a Nosferatu remake. That's OG like vampire movie. Yeah, Nosferatu.
That's Robert Eggers.
Yeah, Robert Eggers. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna go a little bit. Oh boy, there's some good ass movies coming out. So the Robert Eggers movie. Shit, what was it called? I'm blanking.
Is it Nosferatu?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I just said that.
It's midnight over here. Okay, it's legit midnight. Okay, so then I won't say that. Barry Jenkins Mufasa. That I want to see how he tackles, because I am not a big fan of like these remakes, but I know Barry's gonna cook, so I got to see what he's gonna do. Mickey 17, there's a delay there, but if they get that in time, really good one. Joker 2 with Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah, that's another one of mine too. I'm excited.
Really, really excited about that one. There's one called The Book of Clarence. I don't know. Have you guys heard about that one?
I've heard about that one.
Yeah,
one
Book
my
of Clarence,
girls, Joker.
that's
yeah,
actually
she's
out this
talking
week.
about that a lot too.
It's out this week.
Yeah, that we said it got leaked.
No, it's out this week.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then just eye candy. I can't help it. Like, I'm not even a Mad Max fan, but Anya Taylor-Joy is supposed to be like leading that Mad Max series, and like there's just something about her. It's like I can't take my eyes off of her. It's just kind of like she's just one of these artists where I'm just like, you can just see she's giving it her all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just there's something really infectious about it. Like the menu, like that came out a couple years ago. Like, and a lot of people didn't talk about that. I'm just like, she can carry a film. She really can carry a film. Like, so I'm excited about a couple of those.
Yeah, Furiosa is definitely up there. Like I avoided the trailer when they released it online, and then I
Same.
believe I saw the trailer in front of the Iron Claw, and I'm already hooked. It's like I believe I seen Mad Max Fury Road I think I seen it 5 times in the theater. Like back when that originally released. I absolutely love like that first one. George Miller just continually he continues to eat even at 80 years old. I love everything that man is doing even at 80 years old. Furiosa, like I said, Mickey 17, like I'm hoping that comes out in 2024. And then as a kind of like a weird one, I'm liking the Fall Guy. Everything the Fall Guy is
okay.
The basically a movie about Ryan Gosling playing a stuntman.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Gosling,
yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking about another movie.
It's the David Leitch movie.
Yeah.
The guy that did what was that movie with Brad Pitt? The Bullet Train.
Yeah, Bullet Train.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
He also did Deadpool as well, but I think it looks like fun. You got Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling working together. Emily Blunt is like the director, and they got some sort of
really.
Yeah.
Is this going to be her directorial debut?
I think she's worked on a few smaller projects. Maybe she did some TV, but she plays the director in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying she. Oh, okay, duh. Okay, sorry. I was
Yeah,
like, what? I was just like, is she directed? I'm like, shoot. Okay.
And then I'm excited for Argyle as well.
Oh yeah, that seems fun.
I know people don't like that director very much because of Kingsman, but it's got Henry Cavill in it. I'm willing to like Henry Cavill with no mustache, unfortunately. But
I am on the wrong side of history, maybe, but Henry Cavill and I don't get along.
You know what? It's okay. I'm starting to hear that opinion more and more.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I think it might just be Superman and people hating Superman, but not.
Yeah, just being upset about that. Yeah. What do you guys think?
He's really good at Mission Impossible Fallout. I loved him in that, and that's actually why I actually love that movie because
it's just. I think it's one of those things hard for me to like separate the Superman thing, and so you might be right. You're right. That's what it is.
Right.
What about Inside Out 2? You guys excited about that?
I can't be excited for it because so many Pixar movies have just like disappointed me. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
I'm more excited for Pixar this year that they're releasing all the movies that were on Disney Plus. Turning Red's coming to theaters for the first time. Soul, and then Luca.
Yeah.
So I'm excited
Meagan,
about that.
I know you like your biopic.
Yeah.
I am so off this train, but I hope it does well. Back to Black, Amy Winehouse.
I'm not looking forward to that one. No,
I'm like, don't.
not.
I'm like,
no,
don't.
No, that's just okay. I feel like okay.
It
just
seems
the point
too
of
quick.
An Amy, the point of an Amy. It's one. It's not. She doesn't like her estate didn't approve it.
Yeah.
So like her parents and stuff didn't approve it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks terrible. Like as far as the set photos. And this movie itself, and just having a movie be that, just seems disrespectful.
I don't like it at all. And then I just think Amy was so well done, the documentary, that it's just like I'm not that like we never need another one, but it was like that movie really just told such a great story that, and it's just too soon to get this fictional sort of thing.
Right.
Right.
And well, I hate to say it, but like a lot of people, well, I've always been a fan of Amy Winehouse, even when they were like
Same.
making fun of her and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
same.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I was rooting for her, and that's why I was like so heartbroken when she passed.
Mhm.
Oh, that was hard.
But,
Yeah.
like I'm still not over it. You know. And
No, that movie, Amy, really it rewoke it in me where I was like, oh my, I can get emotional right now. Like,
yeah, I
honestly,
could get
like,
emotional
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
I am not gonna watch Back to Black. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Now the other
Yeah.
one, since you're a biopic, is Shirley with they're doing a
with,
Shirley Chisholm movie with
Yes.
yes.
What
Regina
about
King.
what about the Bob Marley pick?
I'm not excited for that one. Not gonna lie. A lot of people are like, "Yay!" I want to see. Like, even my mom is like,
Kingsley
"I wanna see that."
Benedict?
I'm like, "I don't want to see that."
Kingsley Benedict? He was Ken, and now he's Bob Marley.
Well, he was Ken, and he was also in that
can't take
Marvel.
Well, we don't talk about that.
You don't talk about
I cannot. He just doesn't look like Bob Marley. The freaking dread wig looks terrible.
It just
Like,
something about it is off.
It
Like
looks
it just
off.
yeah,
It
something
looks so off. It's from like the Jamaican accent. Like everything
yeah.
looks off. I'm
They should have got
sorry,
someone
Bob.
actually Jamaican. They should
Yeah,
have got
and this is what I mean about Hollywood. Sometimes I'm like, what are we doing? Like, just get someone who's Jamaican.
right.
Okay,
Look at the parody.
it's almost midnight, so I want to keep holding everyone. But
Yeah.
but have you all seen the trailer for the American Society of the Magical Negroes?
Yes, and I'm curious.
I've
about
heard the issues people are having with it. So
If this movie, this is kind of like the Black Barbie movie or something. Like if this movie is not executed properly,
people are going to be rioting.
it's not going to be pretty.
bad.
It's
It's not going to be pretty at all.
It is
No.
because I mean that
Who's
trailer.
directing it? Is it someone black that's directing it? But even
Let me
with
take
that,
a-
you kind of have to because sometimes movies can be black directed and not miss the mark whatsoever.
Oh, for sure. It's Kobe Labili. I'm not sure if he's African American or what, or you may be mixed. I'm not sure. Let me take a look at the script. I saw that
he's light skinned.
he's light skinned, so it might be. Oh, you know, here's the issue: written, directed, and produced by him. So like that can be an issue sometimes.
Oh, that could be an issue, but it just it depends. Like, are they being like I just want them to be subversive. I don't want them to be overly preachy. I want it to be smart. Those are the two things that I want. You know, not over. Yeah, you know, and then I'll be fine with it. I'm not going to be rushing to the theater, but I'm probably going to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll watch it like day 2, day 3, but not day 1.
Yeah, I just like there's something about it that's really making me nervous and cringe, and like I just don't like the feeling, like, because it's just like you got to be so delicate. And Marley, what was the movie that you just saw that we were talking about?
American Fiction.
Yeah, it feels like American.
Watch that.
So
American it would have made my list. It would have made my list if I saw it in 2023, but it just now started playing near me. So
yeah. American Fiction. Again, I'm a straw hat pirate, so I saw 5 minutes, and it was like, again, I want to give this movie the right sort of, you know, currency and go to the theater and see it right, or like with a group, because it looked funny. And I kind of feel like the American Society of Magical Negro kind of wants to be this movie where like it has this smart sort of take, and I'm just nervous about it. I'm just really nervous about it.
I wasn't expecting a Black Harry Potter like a lot of people were, and I'm like, I don't want a movie that's a Black Harry Potter be called the Society of Magical Negroes. Like what?
Right.
What? Like what's wrong with y'all? Like,
Where are we? Is this 2024?
Right.
If we want like a Black Harry Potter, don't have Black Potter or anything relating to race to it. Just
right. Just,
you know what I mean? Just something.
I'm sorry. We are not reclaiming the word magical Negroes. We're not doing that.
Stop.
No. Yeah.
Talk about the magical Negro trope, which I'm glad they are, but again, don't be too preachy. Don't. My concern, and this is probably going to be really controversial. I'm afraid that it's going to be spoon fed to white people to make them feel bad. Which I'm like, dude.
We don't
It
need
doesn't.
that. We don't.
It doesn't help when you go to the trailers. The comments are turned off. That's all I'll say.
Yes, that part.
Never a
That
good
part
sign.
too.
Never
Like,
a good
I
sign.
feel like, and also I don't want it to like teach white people about racism. Like, no, just put it
Yes.
as it is. You know,
Right.
that's kind of that's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, we had Obama, so everything's all good, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah. It's just,
And
yeah.
also too, my other concern is I don't want it to be like a love conquers all thing because it seems like a
Mm.
interracial couple that's in it, and
Mm.
I just don't. It
Yeah.
doesn't. There's like, not saying that interracial relationships are bad, clearly, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like, don't use it as a love conquers all. Just forget the haters. You
I'll-
know what?
I-
Like, no.
I will tell you, as a black man who is engaged to a white woman,
Yeah.
she constantly is like, sometimes I'll get a like little loose, like goosey, like you're good, and she'll be like, no, like she's always on it, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
that's what you kind of have to be when you are in an interracial. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
can't-
true.
You can't like. And Marley and I were talking a little about this earlier, because it's like, when you have kids, right? It's like they are black, but they also are white. But it's like you have to really show that contrast. And I think a black mother, a black woman, is like that sort of like foundation of like, like your growth and a lot of things. So I think it's like, in the braiding of the hair, like if my white fiance wife isn't going to learn how to braid hair, it's like, you're not in the card for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah,
like,
true.
like
Now you're going to a braid shop. I'm gonna learn, whatever.
Correct.
Learn
Yeah,
how to
like-
take care of the hair instead of like.
you can't be like, oh, we're in love, so like I'm gonna send her to the barbershop or the salon. Like that is just, you got to really get into it. And the American Society of Magical Negroes, I'm gonna tell you right now, that girl is not braiding hair. I mean, it's just
She's not. No.
like, she's not.
No, she is not.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's
She's
not. And
gonna
it's
put a wig on a 2-year-old and call it a day. Or a
that-
week.
Oh my god.
yeah. I'm like, I'm for me personally, I'm like, not gonna be able to do it. Okay. If you're gonna be with me, you got to learn to braid. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, yeah.
So that film, we are cautiously,
Yeah.
cautiously, we're going in cautiously, but
Yeah.
2024 is going to be another great year for movies, just like 2023 was. We kind of got off a little bit to a rough start with like the writer strike and the
Mhm.
actor strike, but at least like all of those strikes are over with. Like we all stood in solidarity with them,
Yeah.
which I am
I love
proud of,
that.
like all of
Mhm.
us as creators. But yeah, this has been a really wonderful conversation of just talking about the year in film. But it's about that time, Tyrone. Where can people find you online?
Well, this is sort of my rebirth here, coming back online. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Instagram's kind of right now my main home where I'm sharing stories, having fun there. But I need to give a shout out to my best friend, my buddy, jumping on another jet, because him and I are going to be collaborating a lot more this year. Doing more sketches, more comedies, more writing stuff. So we're gonna start to play around a little bit more out on the internet. So that's kind of where I am. But you can always find me on Instagram, The Circle Club. Everywhere it's The Circle Club. And my whole motto is just be you, because we really try to create this community where it's like, I don't care if you told me your favorite movie was Fast X. Like, cool, that's your favorite movie. Like that's that's what you love. Tell us why you love it, why we should see it, right?
I don't know who would say that. But
but it's all about, like it's and like we had fun with making this top 10 list, but in all seriousness, these movies are all so different and they're their own thing that it's like, there's so much to love about them. And I'm glad that we had this this discourse the way we did, because there's so many places where it's like people so definitive about everything, and we all are like, we realize that it's just beautiful that we have these stories, and I love hanging out with you guys and talking movies. So yeah, that's my spiel, and it's midnight now, so good night, everyone.
Likewise, Megan, where can people find you on?
Yeah, people can find me on Instagram and TikTok, mainly, at Meagan's World. So that's MEAGANZ World. I mean, my handle's right down there. So those are my main platforms for now. I might be on something else, but yeah. But also follow me on Letterboxd too if you want to see more reviews or like what I'm watching in real time. check that out too. And also throw movies my way too. I put them all on my watch list, so I'll get to them eventually. Yeah.
Definitely go follow these two wonderful creators. All the links will be in the description down below. If people made it to the end of this podcast and don't despise me, you could follow me pretty much everywhere on social media with the username @MarleyLovesFilm. I'm on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm going to start creating more YouTube content in 2024, which I'm very excited for. Just because I've been loving this platform lately. I just like the community is just wonderful. The film community is great. If you like, you can also listen to this podcast anywhere where podcasts could be found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much wherever you're listening to podcasts, this podcast could be found. And if you like what you're listening to or watching, give us a rate and review on any of those podcast platforms. Give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars because it'll help us rise in the ranks. And even if you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why you don't like us. Because constructive criticism is probably the best thing that you can give in 2024. But with that being said, my name is Marley Silverbrand for the Real Lovers Podcast, and then Tyrone would just go.
My name is Tyrone from the Circle Club.
And my name is Meagan. I was Meagan's World. Whoa.
And let's get back to the movies. All right. See ya. All right. End stream.